Welcome back, everybody, to another casual podcast. I am here with my new internet friend, which literally I just messaged less than 24 hours ago, probably, or something like that. This is Denver. Denver, you can introduce yourself however you want to. I don't really have some special way of doing it.
Hello, my name is Denver. I am 20 years old and I'm from California. I am a podcaster, gamer, future race car driver, and
Sure. Yeah,
I am a student, kind of.
it's kind of okay. So, future race car driver. I saw that, and I was gonna ask about that, but I didn't know when it would come up. So,
Yeah,
future, you already do explain that.
so I'm not going to be racing this year just
Uh,
because of Corona, but I plan on drag racing in the future. So I have two older sisters who are currently professional drag racers, and my father is too. And I am lined up to race hopefully soon.
So, how long? When did you start doing that? Like the second you could drive, or before? Or, how do you even
So
get into
there's
that?
something called junior drag racing. I started doing that when I was, I think, 7 years old. And then I took a little bit of a gap because my dad was starting professional racing. And then my sister started, and we just decided as a family, let's do this together because that would be really cool. And now we're all kind of involved. And we've been racing professionally, my family, for maybe, I want to say almost 5 years. But drag racing is just something that has been generational. My grandfather used to drag race, like street racing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
my dad started when he was a younger, and he's always been a part of that motor lifestyle. And at a young age, we were all introduced to speed and exciting things like that. So that's a cool thing to be a part of.
That's actually kind of crazy. So wait, so if you drive a normal car, are you this just sucks? This is boring, or is it
Well, I haven't done real drag racing yet because
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't count going 80 miles per hour at 7 years old, drag racing.
I mean, it's
So,
still pretty fast for a 7-year-old.
I mean, yeah, but even then I was this is so slow. What is this? But I mean, no, I try to make it exciting, but
But,
safely.
if you're driving a normal car though, just around town, are you this is boring? Do you speed and stuff? Do you have tickets that you get?
No. Okay, I'm gonna knock on wood here because I've never been pulled over by a cop. I've never got a ticket. That's I should though.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
should. I should really have many, but I do not. So that's a nice thing.
Okay, so future drag racer, race car driver. I don't know the particular terms for that, but okay, so that's lined up. But you also
Yes.
do so you okay, so I found Denver, just for everyone listening. I found Denver. She was on my For You page. No, she had a funny video
TikTok.
on TikTok, yeah. So I went to your account and I started watching the videos. I was like, oh, these are entertaining, right? Um, and then I was I just went on a limb and DM'd her about this. And then when I went to her Instagram, there was obviously more stuff that I was like, oh, this is interesting, right? So how were you trying to get followers on TikTok? Because you have a decent amount on there. You're 20K or something like that.
I wasn't even here's my thing. I never try to get followers. I never try to get big just because I like to have genuine connections with smaller groups of people. And I was on TikTok and I was posting the stupidest things, and people just started kind of liking my stuff, and I started doing live streams on there. And I was doing more of gaming, kind of some of those videos started to get more popular, and some other ones. But I found with the gaming ones, it was really easy, obviously because I am a female and it's a very small group of female gamers.
Yeah, yeah.
But I started to just talk to people, and I was like, hey, let's play COD. And then I went to sleep one night and one of mine got 106,000 views overnight.
Yeah.
And I accidentally had my Call of Duty Activision on my Instagram, and then I went to play COD the next day and I had 500 requests, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? But yeah, it was.
Hold on, my connection went out for a second. Sorry.
It's all
This
good.
happens every time. Okay. So wait, okay. So you had one what was the video that actually took off a little bit that got you the followers? Or not, they didn't get you all those followers, but what's the first one that took off?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's all right. You have a lot of
I have
videos
no
though.
idea. I think it was one maybe with a gun that I was using, and I had like a little keychain on it. That
Yeah,
was like a
yeah,
bear.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in California. I'm in California too, but I'm in like a part of
Mhm.
California that's pretty like we're not super locked down. Which we're not gonna. We won't go deep into Corona, but um, like how locked down is it where you're at? Like, is it like completely different than what it was like 6 months ago, or are they pretty like rational about it?
It's still pretty locked down. Like things are slowly opening again. I know, are you in the Bay Area or
I'm in the Central Valley, like right in the
okay,
middle of the state, and also the Bay Area. I go back and forth.
okay, okay. Yeah, I'm in like San Jose area. I'm
Oh,
not gonna
nice.
like
Okay.
fully
No,
disclose where
yeah,
I
yeah,
am,
for sure,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm in like that area. But it's not um terrible.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not as bad over there as I thought it was gonna be. When it first happened, it was
Yeah.
like way, way, or at least I was in like San Ramon when it happened,
Hmm.
and the building that I was in, they just sent everyone alerts, and everyone's phone was like, and
Yeah, the
like we
Amber
had to
Alerts.
leave.
Like that
Yeah,
was so scary
I know. I
when
felt
we
like
started getting those.
I don't have very much of it, but like the small little bit of like conspiracy theory muscle in my mind, like when that happened, it was just like boom, 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 and I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like the world's
Oh
gonna end
no,
right now.
like
Yeah,
something's happening.
no,
Yeah.
seriously, I was ready to get my stuff and leave and just like I don't know, think that I was running away from fire or something. It was crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That happens all the time.
Okay, so you're a partial student also. So are you going to school as like a backup plan, or like are you really planning? Is racing something that you can actually do? Like, I know that you can. You
Yeah,
make
so
money
you
doing
can
anything, but
do it, but my family does it more as a hobby just because there's no profit in it.
yeah,
Like there is, but not like a substantial amount that you can like really survive off of,
yeah,
especially in California.
sure.
Um so I went to fashion school last year in Milan,
Oh
and
shit.
then this past year I did like a working gap year just for my family. We have a recycling company in San Jose. So I've been working there, and in the fall time, I plan on going back to school to study entrepreneurship and psychology. Um, so we'll
Just
see.
gonna
Like,
see what happens. That's good. I
yeah,
mean, it's just try. That's what you should do when you're like that. Like, see, when I was your age, I wish I would have done all that. Just tried a bunch of stuff that I
yeah,
wanted to try because then like everything's so much easier later on. Because then you're like, oh, I like this. I don't like this. Feel passionate about this. This is a hobby type of thing.
yeah. And I think it's difficult to have the courage to like want to try new things because it's like, oh, like everybody tells you need to stick to one thing and like stay on that path and like don't stray from that, otherwise like things might get messy. And like for me, truthfully, like my life's like kind of like all over the place, and it's like I never really know what's going to happen, and that's like the exciting thing because I'm so open to like new opportunities and things like that. But especially when it comes to like imagining my future, it's like, okay, like I have goals, and like they're not crazy clear, but it's like I'm moving towards that, which is like a good start.
Yeah,
So I don't know, we'll see.
dude.
We'll
Like,
see
just
what life takes me.
like you saying that. I swear, I'm not just saying this, but well, I mean, I have receipts on video that I say this all the time. But like, dude, like when you said courage, like that's like the epitome of like everything for like your life. I feel like because
Yeah,
like there's a
for
lot of
sure.
confident people that like would probably like want to do the same things as you, but like confidence doesn't really do that much for you other than make you feel good. But like
Yeah,
courage, actually doing stuff where you're like, oh, this is kind of
and it's like
out of
it's
my
so
comfort zone.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like
Like
confidence feels
it's
good, but courage doesn't feel good to have, but it actually gets you somewhere.
hmm and I think thankfully I have both. But like it's taken so long to like get here, and it's like, oh, I'm only 20 years old, but also like I feel like elderly. And I'm like, okay, don't worry, we're getting through this. Yeah.
So okay, so you went to fashion school in Milan,
I did.
and that was like for okay. So when you go to fashion school, that's like for those of us like myself who don't know that, that sounds like a very vague term, but you probably learned a bunch of stuff over there, which I'm actually very interested to ask you about this.
Yeah.
But so what is that like? And like, is there a specific like realm of I guess
Mhm.
design or what like whatever that you went into?
Yeah, so there's different types of categories. You have like menswear, you have women's wear, you have accessories. You can even do like furniture design, interior design. But my school was called Istituto Merengoni. They were based in Milan. They have different campuses all over the world. And my major was, or like career path was fashion design and marketing, women's wear. So I did, I learned how to do sewing. I learned like graphic design or like computer, like basic Adobe Photoshop, Lightroom, all those types of things. We had to do like a physics class. I don't know why. Then we had to do like fashion history and pattern making, which was like also the sewing, and just kind of a class called fashion design, like technical skills and like drawing and things like that. So it was a lot of technical things I had to learn, which was very difficult for me just because I can't draw. But I'm more like creative. So it was really interesting to be challenged. Like, oh, you have to come up with like 500 outfits and like be creative with it. And like, you just have to sit there and like try to be technical. And especially because I didn't know Italian. Thankfully the classes were in English, but our teachers all had like really heavy accents. And I was just sitting there like the first month, not knowing what was going on. And like, it was a very different college experience than like typical people would experience. So like, I'm so lucky, but like, it was so difficult. And I loved it though. It was amazing.
So are you planning on, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're not, like, I think that's dope no matter what, right? Like, so like, is that something also that you want to do? Because it's like, it sounds like you have like a bunch of different things, which is cool, but like none of them are connected.
No,
but it's like,
none
that's
of them
cool.
are connected. And that's kind of what I'm working on in my life, like trying to figure out a way to like, not necessarily connect them, but like see how my path like might be able to cross, because I am in so many different like random niches of like life, and none of them like have any correlation whatsoever, but like I know I can do something, and like I just want to try everything. But fashion is something that has always been like a constant thing in my life, and I definitely want to pursue that. I'm not sure like in which way, but I still do design things. I still like sometimes will make things. I don't dress the best anymore. Ever since I got back in America, like I was wearing like Einstein shirt. I'm like, oh, it's fine. But like when I was in Milan, like it's a whole different scene of fashion there. So that was also difficult for me.
So like, okay, so you're drag race race car person, driver, and you went to fashion college. And then you are also like a creator by accident, because you really are like a content creator. Like even though like you didn't try to get followers on TikTok, like you do make a lot of content, which like even people that want to really be content creators, they don't make that much. You know what I mean? So that's one part I was curious about too, because you have a podcast, which everyone should go listen to if you guys are listening to this, which is the Insane Podcast, right?
Thank you. Yes. The Insane Podcast.
So is that just something that you're like willing to try too, or you're like, maybe I want to be a content creator and I'm just trying it out, or what?
Okay, so ever since I was 13, I've always like pumped out content like on every single platform that was out there. I had a YouTube channel when I was 13, and I did that for almost 3 or 4 years.
Wait, how many videos were you making?
I was doing at least once a week, and I worked like so hard on that. Like I worked so hard. I traveled for that. I was going to like all these makeup conventions because at the time I was interested in makeup and like I wanted to be a beauty guru. But then I like kind of strayed away from that as I got into high school, because like people were like,
you're good.
I'm so sorry about that. People were like bullying me, and it was very difficult for me to like learn how to be like a normal like 15-year-old girl and try to like do YouTube, which I almost regret not pursuing that, because that was like the perfect timing, and I feel like I could have like really done something with that. But here I am. I'm still creating like content like at a disturbing rate. So I mean, it's just fun for me because it's something I'm comfortable with, which is very odd. And like I love recording myself, which sounds like stupid, but it's fun.
Dude, I'm not even trying to gas you up. Like you do have like a lot of content, because I was like looking, because so I was like, obviously like when I had asked you, I was looking at your content already, but then I wasn't paying attention to the dates. And then when I went back through, I was like, damn, there's like just TikTok alone, I'm like, there's a lot of videos, and they're not like crappy ones. They're all pretty like, they're all like at like they have like some type of like storyline, or they're funny. You know what I mean? It's good pieces of content.
Yeah, I try sometimes. Other times I'm like, you're not funny. Like just stop.
So like, okay, so like What do you do for work? Sorry.
So my family has a construction debris like recycling center.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I
That's right.
work
Okay.
there, and then just that at the moment.
Okay. And then so you do that, you make a bunch of TikToks, practice racing,
Mhm.
you play Call of
Yeah.
Duty. Do you just
Hmm.
like not sleep, or is it like? Because like for me, dude, I run off of like nothing but caffeine. So like I do so
Yeah.
much stuff because I'm just like literally down in coffee all day, not even for the taste, just like
No, that's
constantly at that
exactly how
wired
I am.
level.
It's like 5 cold brews. I'm like, I'm
Dude, yeah.
good.
Are you a Starbucks
But
person or no?
sorry, Star
Are,
Wars?
are you a Starbucks person or no?
Oh, Starbucks? I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, I'm not that big of a Starbucks person, but their nitro brew, the nitro stout,
It's
dude, so good.
it's not that amazing. Like Starbucks isn't that amazing. I like their nitro cold brews. But like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
other good coffee places out there. But during quarantine, like all the coffee places that I like are closed. So I've had to like drink Starbucks.
Dude, McDonald's coffee is actually really good. It's just that it doesn't get me
Really?
wired. It tastes really good, but it just doesn't do the job for
Uh,
me. That's why I never get it
that's
anymore. But
unfortunate.
yeah, it's pretty bad. But I have like 15 years of just constant drinking coffee to where like
Yeah.
I don't have a tolerance, or I don't have like the tolerance that I want anymore. Like I have
Hmm.
too much, but yeah, it is what
Yeah.
it is.
It happens.
Okay.
But
No, sorry,
sorry.
go ahead. No, I cut you off.
No, I try to get sleep, but there's like so many things I'm like trying to do. Like in a day, it's like, okay, I want to like work out. I want to play COD. I want to like get in like some type of healthy like meditation or like yoga. And then like Call of Duty, like work. And it's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot. But I have coffee to like
Okay.
help me.
So you live in the Bay Area.
Hmm.
Like, do you, okay. When you went to high school, what is it like in the, because, okay, so I'm from the Central Valley. When
Yeah.
I work in the Bay Area, it's like a different world. And I'm not talking about politics at all. Like, I just mean the people there
No,
are different.
it's a different world.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
entirely. And I knew it was like that. But when I got older and I was like really mingling around over there, meeting different people at events and different things like that, I was like, wow, like they're I don't know how to explain it, but it's very in certain pockets, and I love the
Mhm.
Bay. I think Bay is
Yeah.
great. Like I love that area, but in certain pockets they seem very disconnected. And like I said, not just
I
politically, but it's very
agree.
disconnected.
I agree. But I think it's also not to play devil's advocate, but I also think it's very valid because we're in such like a bubbled community of like, tech, like
Yeah, yeah,
yay.
yeah,
Like it's really like a different type of place. Like whereas if you're in like the middle of like Tennessee or something, like
yeah,
it's yeah, there's just no grasp of like what outside of California is like. And I think going to school in the Bay Area, um, I went to school in, I don't know if you know where Saratoga is,
yeah.
like very like wealthy, like elementary school. I went there, middle school. So growing up there was very interesting because I would see like California wealthy. And then I went to school like in kind of downtown San Jose area. And that
Which
was
is where
also
like both worlds kind of
very
meet, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but less of like the more wealth. It was like different levels. So,
Mhm.
kind of throughout my life, I've seen like different levels of like California wealthy.
Yeah, yeah,
And even now where I work, it's like very like not low class, but like lower end class people here. And it's just interesting to see how drastically different our area or the Bay Area is, like Silicon Valley. But there's just no, I mean, there is in some cases, but it's very difficult to find like very down to earth people and just people who kind of like understand like differences, I guess. And I
yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah. Well, the reason I was asking too, and like not to be, I don't mean like overly like
mhm.
aesthetically. I just mean like when you look at your Instagram, you would not think that you were from that general area.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just, or just like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? I just mean like literally, like you don't look like you're from that area. So when you were saying that, I was like, oh, this is interesting because like typically there is some caricature or blueprint of the way people look like from
Yeah.
over there, what they're, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just random. So it was, yeah, just kind of like threw me off a little bit because I honestly, like, I thought that you were going to say, because on one of your pictures, I saw that you were in California, but
Mhm.
I just assumed that you were like down south somewhere, or like
No.
like not in the Bay.
Yeah, I just feel like it's I stand out here, which is like funny,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like to be different. So I mean, yeah, but what do you think, like, okay, so what do you do in the Bay Area? Like, what brings you up here for work, or what do you do?
So okay, like I do geeky business stuff. Really, what I do
Hmm.
is like I just go to different companies and I work as like a consultant slash like small like marketing agency,
Okay.
and I rebuild the departments basically and
Yeah.
teach old people about operating on social media or on like
Hmm.
for marketing. So it's like you're very competent, very intelligent people, but because they aren't on the internet all day, they don't understand how much time and the amount of money it would take to pay somebody to make a simple video that's like a minute long, right?
Yeah.
So I do that with like everything, and I just break it
Hmm.
down for them, and basically everything that I know about creating content and building an audience or whatever it may be, I put
Hmm.
that into terms that they understand, and then that gives them more of like an idea of like, oh, we don't need to pay this 20-year-old kid 120 grand right out of college to
Yeah.
manage our Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
So it sounds kind of bad because like maybe I don't know, like I'm like saying, hey, these people are not worth that much. That's not what I'm saying at all though,
No,
but
I
saving people
understand where you
money.
come from. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, but I do that, and then I just do random side crap like trading stocks and like brand deals on the internet and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I'm a pretty typical person from California, basically. Like,
I mean, yeah, but it's interesting because you have like different niches as well, I
yeah,
think.
no, what? Okay, so when you were talking about all the different things you do, that's exactly like me. I don't like. I feel like I'm my niche. That's kind of what it seems like with you. Like you are your
Mhm.
niche. Like everything
Yeah.
else you do is kind of like just different things. But like you know how when you watch some creators on the internet, and not trying to box you into that at all, not at all.
Hmm.
But when you watch certain people on the internet, what they do is bigger than them a lot of times. Like they might be like, I don't know, like a road cyclist and they ride bikes like crazy, and you're more
Yeah.
interested in like bikes than you are that person. Like with your stuff, because you do so much, it seems like you are actually like the star of your content and not everything else. So that's what I always try to be. I'm always like, I don't
Yeah.
want,
I think I mean, I've never like heard anybody say that, but that's like exactly what I do just for fun. But yeah, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
interesting.
No, yeah, I don't know. Not to geek out on it too much. I get too carried away with this stuff because I'm like,
No, I
what I
love
do
it.
for
Keep
work, so I
going.
end up going into it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, when are you? I'll ask you this. We won't go crazy into it. Are you scared to
Mhm.
get corona? Do you wear a mask everywhere?
I do wear a mask
I do wear a mask
everywhere.
too, but
Um,
you
to
don't have to get into like the
Okay,
crazy side of
okay.
it if you don't want to.
Well,
But
no,
I
this is like an interesting conversation, and I haven't really like shared my opinion on it just because it's like kind of like conspiracy. But
it's very true.
I I wear a mask to make other people feel comfortable, but I'm not too scared to get it myself.
Same,
Um,
same.
but
It's like
yeah,
it's possible. It's precautionary, right? Like
yeah,
it's
and
definitely real, but it's like I'm not gonna freak out about it, but I'm also gonna do the
be
right things to be
respectful.
safe
Yeah.
and respectful. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Okay. Understandable. Understandable. There's so much stuff. Okay. I'm just gonna say this because people are gonna be wondering. So
Go for
people,
it.
well, I'm not gonna ask you these questions, but I'm gonna let everyone else know because people are probably wondering like, why isn't Devon asking her this stuff? Because like before this, guys, I like asked her like, is there anything that's off limits? And she was like politics. And I'm like, okay, that's understandable. And it's funny that you say that because the last thing I put up on this, like half of my not half, but a lot of people messaged me for that podcast I sent you, and they were like, we don't want to hear you talk about politics anymore. And I
I
was like,
mean,
that's understandable.
it's so understandable, but also like so much power to you for like putting yourself out there, especially when it's not the typical view, because that takes like a lot and people will hate on you no matter what. So like that's cool that you did that and like shared a different perspective from other people,
No,
and you can talk about whatever you want. Who cares?
no, 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 I won't put you on the spot for that because it'll be too.
No, 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 it's
People are
okay.
like, oh, we've heard this a million times. I don't really give like a whole lot of like. I really don't give a shit about being canceled. I never will be. I don't
Yeah.
think I'll be big enough to ever get canceled. But like,
But yeah, that's good that you don't care.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's hard not to be like cautious. Like at least for me, I'm like very careful about what I say just because I'm gonna offend people no matter what, just because like that's just how I am. Like I offend people all the time and I don't mean to, just because I give my honest opinion and people are just like, that's really rude. Here in California, I don't open my mouth anymore just because I like to listen to what people say and like formulate my own opinion rather than like
Of
try to get into
course.
arguments that are like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
meaningless and just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't lead anywhere.
yeah, but I like listening to other people's views. It's
For
interesting,
sure. For sure.
especially here.
So, okay, you're the youngest of, you said three sisters, or is there's three of you?
There's four of us, so
There's
I have
four
three
of you.
older sisters.
Dang, okay. So, like,
Yeah.
how far apart are all of you guys?
So my oldest sister is 28
28.
or 29, something like that, and then the sibling below her is 27, and then my other sister is 23, and I'm 20. So
Okay, so you guys are
a
like
bit of
boom.
a ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's okay. So, like, are you guys all like into, I mean, obviously like all into race, because you said it's kind of what you guys do as a family, it's a hobby, but like are you
Yeah.
guys like ultra competitive with that type of stuff? Because like I have one brother and we can't do
Mhm.
anything together because we're, I mean we do, but it's just too much. Like we're just crazy with each other. So with
Yeah.
four I can only imagine.
Actually, no, we're not competitive at all, which is so nice because my sisters and I, like, we're all best friends, which is like really nice to have that. Like, my entire family is so close. And maybe my older sister and I, like, we're a little bit competitive just because, like, I'm cooler. So, like, that's such a sibling thing to say. Oh, I'm cooler than my sister. But yeah, her and I are like slightly competitive
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with certain things, but it's never like coming from a bad place. It's just like, oh, we want to be like cooler than each other, so like let's try.
Do you guys fight at all ever or no?
I mean, like any sibling would, but it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like bad. It's just like, oh, like why are you being mean to me? You know?
Dang, that sounds so nice.
No, I mean, growing up was definitely difficult with like three older sisters.
They all
But
protective and stuff too?
yeah, for the most part. But we're all like so protective over each other.
Yeah,
You know?
just in general, right?
Hmm.
So are you Mexican?
I am mixed. I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
Mexican. Yeah, I
California, it's just
am.
easier to say that sometimes, but
Hmm.
like yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a little bit of like, not everything, but I'm Dutch, I'm Indonesian, I'm Spanish, Mexican, and Comanche Indian.
Dude, okay. So I was curious about that because I'm like, oh, you look kind of indigenous to some
Hmm.
extent, but I figured you'd be
Yeah.
mixed. Dude, have you done your 23andMe before or no?
I have not, but I want to. That'd be very cool.
Dude, so now I guess when you do it, like different people from all over the world pop up and they have like a list or discography of people
Hmm.
and like they're connecting like your third cousin and second cousin. So you could literally like when you send in your blood or whatever, or however they do it, you can
Hmm.
find people that you're related to in like Spain, for example, or wherever. You could like you might have a cousin that is on the list and they're like an hour away from you that
Yeah,
you would have had no idea.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. But
I've
they
always
would have had to do that test too, correct?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Some people freak out about that though. I want to do it. My parents did it, but I like saw my parents' and I kind of averaged mine out. I think I'm a little bit too
Mhm.
scared to send my stuff into the internet right
You
now.
should. Oh yeah, no.
I want to. I want to so bad. I'll end up doing it. I'm just on a bad TikTok algorithm that's freaking me out about everything.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm on like the dark side of TikTok and I'm seeing all these like celebrity conspiracy theories. Like just before this, I saw Howie, something with Howie and like Britney Spears and like the
Oh,
celebrities who need help. And I was like, I was in the bathroom and I was like, what is going on? Like TikTok, please stop. You're stressing me out.
dude, that's how I feel. I'm like, all these people, I'm like, oh man, Tom Hanks, this guy's evil, or like so and so needs help.
Yeah,
Look at their Instagram posts. Like they're like
yeah.
messaging me. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's have you done any research into like that whole
Oh
theory of
yeah.
like Pizzagate or like okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm like one of those people. So I'm like bad because like I don't do this on like YouTube and
Hmm.
Instagram and TikTok. I
You
don't
just
like
do
in
it for
Twitter.
fun.
Well, I do it on Facebook because
Oh, okay.
because Facebook's just like it's a small group of people. You pretty much
Yeah.
grew up with everybody, went to school with them and whatnot, and like
Hmm.
I don't care about anyone on there. So like
Yeah.
that's where I do everything. I just play devil's advocate and I like to argue with both sides. I just
Hmm.
get all of my energy out on there. But yeah, I've dove deep into it. It's
That's
pretty
cool.
wild stuff.
Yeah. I would
There
love
was,
to hear more
dude,
about that because I'm
there
like
was like,
so into like true crime and like conspiracy theories and things like that.
what kind of conspiracy theories do you like get into? Those are just like anything that's there that interests you, or is there like,
All of them. Like even sometimes I'll look at like Loch Ness Monster and I'm like, oh
dude,
yeah, like for sure he's
dude,
real.
that guy is real. That out of all of them, that's the one that has to be real because that's so believable. It doesn't even sound crazy, right? Sorry, I don't know if I skipped out or
No,
not.
I mean
I think Loch Ness
no,
has to be
just like a
real.
little bit. But it's
Oh
okay.
yeah, Loch Ness monster has to be
Oh,
real.
I
That's like
agree.
the only believable one. I mean, they're all kind of believable. You get into it, but that
I
one's like doesn't even need to be proved. I feel like it seems so.
no, it's just facts. Like at this point, and like for me, any kind of conspiracy about like the ocean, I believe. Like there's so much ocean we haven't discovered, and you could tell me anything. And I'll be like, oh, like I gotta believe that. Like that's like the one conspiracy theory. I'm like, yeah, like this is very true.
Have you looked into like the stuff in the Congo or no? Like dinosaurs in the Congo?
No.
So
Mm-mm.
there's like these people that they've never read books before. They've never even seen like anyone that isn't black. Like these people are just like they're like a legit like indigenous tribe to that area. And I don't know how many people are there, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and they said that
Mhm.
they basically described like pterodactyls flying. Like or they describe
Like,
a bunch of like prehistoric animals that they see
oh,
like every other week or something like that.
oh.
Have you ever heard about them or no?
I
I
have
don't.
not heard about them seeing things, but I've heard, well, just from like TikTok. Like, I hate saying like, oh, I got my info from TikTok,
No, but
but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the Congo is like the ocean on the earth. Like they can't even go deep in there and find anything. So like there's people out there that have like seen, I guess apparently like long neck. I forget. I don't know what the exact term would be
Mm-hmm.
for like the prehistoric dinosaur, but like that, and then like pterodactyls like flying and stuff. And these are people that have never seen like read books before. They've never seen like they have no reference for any of that stuff. So then when they
Wow.
bring them books and like all
Yeah,
these people go there to like basically try to communicate with them, they show them pictures and people go crazy when they're pointing at the pictures, and they basically like are telling them like, oh, we see this thing all the time. So
that's crazy.
yeah, so I think there's
Congo.
weird stuff in the Congo. I think that there's like some type of I don't know, giant reptile that's bigger than like what we see over here, like alligators and crocodiles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, nothing really makes sense to me. Like that sounds so dumb, but like I tend to like overanalyze things, and it's like sometimes if I think about like an animal or something, I'm like, how did that happen? And then like I start to like do research, and I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. And like I just go down so many different rabbit holes of like nothing makes sense. I don't get it. Why am I here? Like all these like random things in my brain trying to figure it out.
That's what I there's this one guy. He was okay. So like there's this guy named Carl Jung who is like
Mhm.
the it's who we reference for like a lot of things in psychology. He's one of the guys. So
Okay.
like if you ever hear the term like extrovert and introvert, he is the person that popularized those, and he's from like he was like pretty big in the last like 150 years.
Hmm.
Anyways, but like yeah, it's like what university relates him back to and whatnot. But this guy had basically said that like people they like they hover in this weird area and they fall on the the line of like they don't know if reality or the abstract is more real. So like when you get like
Hmm.
lost in like thought and all the abstract stuff, like to your mind, you can't help it. Just like consciously, that's more real to you than something tangible. And he doesn't know why, but he has this whole book where he goes into it. Where I'm not going to try to get in that rabbit
I
hole.
need to read that because there's something to that for sure.
Dude, it's called a man and his images. It's very interesting. It's definitely not
Man
something
and
you would
images.
you put on like if you're just in the car driving. Like you'd pretty much
Yeah.
have to be like 3 a.m. like trying to wonder what's going on with life
Hmm.
and read it. But interesting
No,
book.
I'd
Definitely
love to
recommend
learn
it.
about that.
I'll email you the PDF. You could read
Thank
bits of it here
you.
and there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I won't. Do you have a time limit? Also, I'm not going to keep you here for like 2 hours or nothing.
I'm all
Good.
yours.
Cool. Cool. All right. So okay. Are you going to like I, is your mindset this? Because when I was younger, I used to think this all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just curious that like I'm gonna do all these different things and try them out, and whatever one works out, I'm gonna just like run with that and like go with it. So like if I was doing like, let's say activity A, I'm putting a lot of
Mhm.
time in it, and activity B and activity C, if activity A really starts taking off, I'm like, there's my out. I'm doing that. Is that kind of how you're setting up, or you're legit just like, I'm gonna let these go and I'll pick it along the way? Or
Um,
I
I've
don't even
learned
know
from
if
my
that question makes
parents.
sense.
No, no, I fully understand. But I've learned from my parents over the years to never put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
And I think it's really easy if something were to like take off. Let's say like my podcast blew up overnight and like I was able to like get money or whatever. Like let's say I was doing YouTube. I would never like quit my job and like just go do that, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
sure.
And especially nowadays, you just can't like rely on that one thing. And like of course
Yeah,
that'd be like really fun to like be a gamer like all day, but I'm pretty like realistic about things for the most part. I try to be. Um and no, I wouldn't do that. Just because I need to have security, especially when it comes to like financial stability, or like
yeah,
in terms of passion. Like yes, I would definitely like run with that, but I would also do my other things I enjoy on the side, because I think moderation is really important, especially for myself, to like practice often
yeah.
instead of just like letting something consume me, which it's hard to practice that. But yeah.
Dude, like, no, it's funny you say that, because I've been on this whole like self-control kick for like,
Hmm.
I want to say like, well, you go in and out of it your whole life, right? But like just learning about self-control, you're like, man, if you don't have that, you'll like destroy yourself basically.
Yeah,
Even
and
with
it's
something
so
as
easy
simple as
to
like, yeah,
like like literally anything. You can let anything kind of consume you if you don't moderate or like portion control
yeah, yeah. That's
what
what,
you're allowing it to consume you. Like even like TikTok. Like when I first downloaded it, I was like on it for like 6 hours a day. And I was like, relax. Just like go in there like twice and you're good. Yeah.
that's what dude, in the book that I was reading, they were talking about like, and not in like a spiritual sense, like it doesn't matter
Hmm.
what you believe, doesn't matter what you believe, but like
Yeah.
let's just, I'll use the analogy, right? So like
Hmm.
any religion that has like a god, it always basically says like only worship that god, right? And like
Yeah.
that fundamentally is like heck of like has so much to do with self-control, because like if you put your like, if you make anything else your god, you'll like literally destroy yourself, not even through the
Hmm.
not even through like the actual thing that you're doing, but just like how can I explain this? Like if you were on TikTok,
Yeah.
making TikToks is not bad, right? But
Hmm.
if you are making TikToks to like feel some type of like to get some type of
Connection
feeling,
or yeah.
yeah, then like if you were trying to use TikTok to feel some type of joy, because it gives
Hmm.
you joy when people leave you compliments on your videos or whatever, then like all of a sudden joy is your god, and you're turning
Yeah.
your like, you know, mindset away from
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
unfathomable being to this weird tangible feeling that you could just get whenever you want, and at some point that will
Yeah.
basically destroy your life, type of
I
thing.
agree with you on that. And
Yeah,
are you religious yourself or?
I'm like, yeah, I don't see this is where I'm like, I don't want to take you down this rabbit hole, because I feel like
No,
I'll
go
make
for
the
it.
conversation boring if I do this.
No, it's interesting to me.
Okay, so like I'm like, I don't like the word religious, because like it's,
Okay, like
I understand.
spiritual or
I don't know what I say. So like if I'm explain myself, because I curse a lot. People they can't
it's
really
okay.
tell from the way that I speak. But like I'm like if I say I'm something, I'm like probably a follower of Jesus. And if like that's
Mhm.
not what anyone believes, then like that's cool too. Like
Yeah,
believe what you
you
want to
can.
believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's what I identify as.
Hmm.
So like when I think about all this stuff, I don't know. What did you ask again? Because that's basically what I identify
If
as.
you're like
Just
spiritual or religious,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like I'm pretty much just like say I'm a follower of Jesus, and then whatever is
Mhm.
in that book, I'm like, okay, I got to find a way to dissect that. So like,
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's stuff beyond the like fathomable realm with our senses. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? If that's what the
Yeah.
way you want to explain it, you can call it spiritual or you can call it whatever. I don't know. There's some big algorithm we're in. I'm just trying to figure it out through that book,
Yeah.
basically.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. What about you? If you don't mind saying it on here.
I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
religious anymore. I used to be, but
yeah, yeah.
I'm not anymore.
For
So
sure. That
I
happens.
am more spiritual,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not necessarily in any group or anything at the moment. I used to be a Christian, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like actually leading like a Bible study, and I was like studying like the Bible heavily for a while, just because it's such an interesting book, and
Yeah.
I love religion and just all everything pertaining to that. But I started to kind of teach myself about like other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
organizations and just in general religions and spiritual beliefs, and now I'm just kind of figuring it out. I don't know.
No, no, that's cool. Like, so like, do
Yeah.
you like feel like, when you think about that stuff, are you just more like, okay, I'm going to put myself in this like state where I'm just trying to assess what's going on, and whatever I find along the journey is like what I believe, or like, how does that work? Because I like asking people about this
Mhm.
because that's a very vague question, but like,
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Um. Sorry. Could
No,
you
no, you're
like
fine.
ask
I
me a question
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
No, so
in
like,
a different way?
so was it like, and you could be honest, because like, dude, like, I
Mhm.
have so many friends that believe so much different
Yeah.
stuff than me. Um, like, was it just more like, man, this doesn't make sense anymore? So like, or like, I found something out that makes more sense, and then you're like, okay, my mind
Mhm.
started changing about stuff, or what was that process like?
Um. For me, I first became religious for the wrong reasons,
Hmm.
which was like a big thing, and then I started to like teach myself about it. Christianity specifically. I
Wrong reasons,
I
like you
think
just grew up like that, or you just like,
no. So the person I was in a relationship with
ah, I
was
see,
Christian,
I see.
and his parents and family like didn't like me because I wasn't. But
Mm,
that's like a whole other thing, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
understandable and fine. But I was baptized Catholic, I think, but I didn't grow up like in a religious household. I've gone to like Christian schools and Episcopalian schools my entire life. Um, but I personally, I I felt almost constrained and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like I couldn't. I felt guilty for
yeah,
like
yeah.
having different beliefs, and I didn't like that feeling because um, I just felt, at least for myself personally, and it has nothing to do with the religion itself, but I felt like I wasn't able to grow. And of
Yeah, yeah.
course, like I would have been able to like grow in my faith because like that's very possible. But I personally, as myself, like I don't believe that like I could have grown to who I am had I stayed doing what I was doing. Because
Yeah, yeah.
like I said earlier, consumption and letting things like control you. For me, I allowed like my religious beliefs to fully control me, and like it just wasn't at a healthy rate,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it wasn't good for me. And of course, like it's different for everybody, and some people might say like, oh, like that's because you didn't like believe enough, or you didn't like genuinely have
So you
that
basically had a
feeling.
bunch of stupid people like telling you all kinds of
Yeah,
crazy
I mean,
stuff.
like everybody has their own beliefs, so it's like okay, but I just know for myself like i can I can be a better person
Yeah,
trying things a different way.
yeah.
So, difficult answer, I guess,
No, it's
just
not
because
difficult at
I don't
all.
really know how to like formulate the words for that.
No,
But
you won't. You made complete sense when you were saying it. Because like, no,
okay.
I get that. Because like certain like communities, I think, and not even just this particular religion, but I think it's just like overall, no matter what you believe in, like when it comes to like this crazy side of the universe, right? Like that weird dimension that we can't really like
Yeah.
look into, you know? People do end up making you feel really bad about like thinking differently about certain things, or just even wanting
Mhm.
to question stuff, or just wanting to
Yeah.
like figure things out. You know what I mean? A lot of times people just want you to be very surface level, and they're like, hey,
Mhm.
this is what it is. And like, don't
Yeah.
ask any questions. And if you do, sometimes you get like, I don't know, like you kind of get, I don't want to use a derogatory term like programmed or brainwashed, but like you get in
No,
this
I
routine
I
of
I
thinking a
understand what
certain
you
way.
mean.
Yeah. And then you're
Yeah,
like,
and
what the heck? I feel bad now because I don't think this way anymore.
exactly, and I think it's really important, especially as like a young Latina woman, to like try to have an open mind with like things. And for myself personally, because I am not a content creator, but like I have a platform that I can use. Um, I want to be able to kind of spread like and listen to and be able to like understand different people from like all different walks of life, rather than just like um being a part of like one group and like only staying with that, because I'm just such a all over the place person. So I think it's like important to be able to connect with different people on different levels.
Yeah. So like, I'm not trying to get into your like dirty laundry, I promise. And if you don't want to talk
No,
about it, you
it's
don't
okay.
have to.
Go
But like,
for it.
so when you dated this guy, how wait, first of all, how long did you date him for?
It was only a year. It was my first boyfriend. I was in high school.
So wait, are you like a disciplined person, like just by nature? Not really.
um, I mean, I don't believe I am, but if I don't like comparing myself to other people, but if I like look at other like 20-year-olds my age, I'm like, oh, like
Because you seem
kind of
like
have
you
your
get a lot
stuff.
of stuff
You
done.
have your stuff together, but like I don't personally feel like I do, but that's just like how I was raised. I was raised like not crazy structured, but like with discipline. So yes, to answer your question.
Because I was curious because it seems like, well, it seems like you have like, I can relate a little bit, but it seems like you have a lot of like chaos going on, but you can harness enough of it to get a lot of stuff done. Or at least that's what like it seems like. So
Mhm.
like, and I don't mean chaos in a bad way. I just mean like for lack of better words, I don't know what other ones to use. So the reason I was asking that is because I was like, man, okay, like you were young, and then you were like,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna basically start following these practices, just like boom, and then you got like super deep into it. So that's why I was like, is that like a personality thing? Was that just the group of people you were around with
That's
at
just
that
a
particular time?
personality thing. Like I've done that my entire life. Just like, oh, like well, so I get that from my father because he one day was like, okay, I'm gonna start becoming like a professional race car driver, and then he just like went and did it. And like I was raised believing like I can do anything I put my mind to, which is like an absolutely amazing gift, but it's such a curse
To
because
a
I'm
fault,
like,
huh? Yeah,
oh, like I'm gonna go become a professional like Twitch streamer. Like let's go do it. And people are like, why are you gaming now? And I'm like, I don't know, it seems like fun. So it's also something like I have to work on in moderation, which is like I'm very open about like my struggles, especially regarding like everything I do, just because like I'm honest and I feel like if I'm gonna put myself out there, I wanna like give the genuine part of myself.
for sure.
And especially when it comes to like being a part of different groups and categories, like I definitely let things consume me, which is fine to a certain extent, but I like trying new things, and it's a good but dangerous thing because it's hard finding like things that like really can ground me. So when I find things that like my soul's like, yeah, this is like
Yeah, this
good
is
for you,
it.
like I stay with it. So that's why I have like a few constant things in my life which are like healthy for me.
So when you were dating that guy, were you just
Mhm.
like his family didn't like me because I wasn't this particular way? So were you like doing it to like build up this like level of criteria that they could look at and be like, oh, okay, she's like us? Or were you doing it to where you were like, I kind of already think I feel this way about a lot of things, like I'm just gonna keep running with it? Or was it a mix of both?
At the time it was just the first one, just like, oh, I want them to like me.
Yeah,
So
like you would have done whatever, right? Or not whatever,
yeah,
but a lot. Yeah,
because I mean, it was my first relationship. I was like, like I'm head over heels for this guy. Like,
yeah.
let's get married.
Yeah. As it is in
Yeah,
high school. Yeah.
like a 16-year-old girl. Like, okay, religion. Okay, check. We're good. It's like a very unhealthy mindset. But now I'm like, okay, like she's gone. She's gone. It's a different person.
It's funny
Yeah.
like that in high school when you think like I'm gonna end up being married by like 20, 21, 22 or something, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to college and then get married right after and have whatever kids, or I don't know. I don't know
Hmm.
how you thought or how girls think about it, but like at least like for
Yeah.
me, because my parents were hecka young when I was born. So like I always
Mhm.
just thought I was gonna have kids at like 20, 21. And then as I got older, I'm like, nah, I'm not.
No.
Like it's not gonna happen.
Sorry. Yeah. But that's, I mean, it's okay. It's
It
your
is what it
life.
is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have kids?
Um,
Probably not.
like children kind of scare
Yeah.
me just
Yeah.
because I'm the youngest. I don't know how to like take care of babies
Well,
and they
you're really
stress
young
me
still
out.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so young and like the thought of like having a child like I feel like it's so selfish to like have a kid where I myself am not like financially stable. I can't like support it mentally. Like there's so many factors and I'm like I don't want my kid to grow up like you know what I'm saying?
I know
I
exactly what you're
I
saying. Yeah,
almost said
yeah.
something bad and I was like, wait, don't say that. So like I just want to make sure my kid has like a good, better future than like I have, if that makes any sense. Like I
No,
want my kid to have
100%.
better than me. So
If you had one later on in
yes.
life when
So
you're
not
much older.
yet because there's so many things I need to work on with myself, and I need to focus on like me first. So
No, yeah,
no
yeah.
children yet, but like in the future, like I would want maybe two. But I like dogs more than like children.
What kind
So
of dogs are you
dogs,
into?
all types of dogs, like big fluffy dogs.
Oh, okay, okay. What about Belgian Malinois? Malinois, Belgian Malinois. Those are the ones that the Navy
Fluffy,
SEALs use. They look like German Shepherds, but like not as long
fluffy.
hair. They're super smart.
Ooh.
No, they're not that fluffy. No. These are like
Hmm.
weird looking dogs, but like they're hecka smart. They're beasts. I just found out about them like 2 months ago. I'm obsessed with them.
Belgian what?
Belgian Malinois. They look like a German Shepherd, but shaved, kinda, and
That's like
darker.
kind of scary in my imagination, but I would love to like have one
They
just for
are
fun.
they are kind of scary. They are kind of scary actually
But I
looking,
like
but
scary dogs that like look like they could like eat you.
yeah, like Saint Bernards and stuff like that, or what?
Yeah.
Dude, those are like. Do you ever see those anymore? Because those were hecka big in the '90s. Or wait, wait. Okay, so wait, you're 20. What
Is
year?
that
Wait,
the
wait. Were you born in the '90s or no?
no? It's
You're born in 2000.
2000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh, I don't even want to
Can I
fucking say.
guess?
Okay, yeah, try to guess. Yeah.
Okay. I
Be real though. Wait, hold on. The connection's messing up. Right, I'll give you a second. The connection's all crazy. All right, are you there?
okay.
All right. So be real
Mhm.
though. Be 100% real.
Okay. Oh, because okay, here's the thing. You are like you're
Be real.
indigenous, which means like you look a little bit younger. Like I feel like you look younger than your age.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to imagine. You're wearing like a youthful kind of shirt. You have a what is that? Is that a turntable in the back?
Oh, it's a drone. It's a drone. It looks like
Okay,
a drone.
that's not helpful. Um, this is difficult because you look like you can either be like
You're not gonna offend me. You're not
like
gonna offend me.
28 or 35.
You're
So
not gonna offend me.
I feel like 32.
31 Thursday.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's such a relief.
It was
Okay.
close. It was close. But now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm aging. I feel fucking old as shit now.
No,
No, I'm just
no,
kidding.
because
I'm just
I
kidding.
just don't know what like age people anybody can look a certain age, you know?
It's harder
Like fillers
to
exist.
no, yeah. My friends and I were talking about that in one of our group chats. So we were like, because somebody left me a comment and they're like, this guy got lip filler, and I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, I don't even look like I got lip filler. Like, why would they even say this? And then I didn't get
Yeah,
self conscious about it, but I was like, why would I look like that?
until somebody said it or
Until
yeah.
somebody said it, yeah, and I was like, what the heck? So now it's like the
What?
ongoing joke in our group chat. It's like Devon
Hmm.
gets lip filler and
You
Botox.
never know. People get surgeries and things and it looks natural, especially in California.
I know everybody's got it over here for
But
real.
I'm all for it. Go do it.
Guys are older. I mean, they're harder to tell the age of because we look generally a lot younger or a lot older. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
pretty close to my age for the most part. I look around
You
my age.
are, but you also look youthful. I think Instagram, like visual, is very different than in real life. And I feel like you definitely look like if you dress like a frat boy, you could look like you're young. But like you dress like an adult. So I mean you look your age.
My friends, I'm like the second youngest behind my brother and like my friends group.
Mhm.
Like everyone else is older than me, but I mean by like 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah.
not that much. So we're always like
Mhm.
making fun of each other because we're all in our 30s now. And we're like, fuck,
Yeah.
we're hella old. But
So old.
2000, that's great. So wait, okay,
You were
2000,
born 1990.
89, 89. I know.
Oh. Sorry, that probably made you feel really bad. But that's so cool though.
It's not. It's really not.
I'm like, oh, 1980. What was that like?
Yeah,
You're only like 11 years older than me. It's not that
only,
bad.
only
I'm
yeah.
only,
A little bit more than
there's
a
many
decade.
older people than you. You're fine.
That's dude. I'm just gonna. That's gonna be my line forever now. Like, there's so many older people than me. I'm not even that old.
It's a good mindset to have. It's always someone older than you. You're fine.
Wait, okay, so like 2000. So you grew up, man, you pretty much like grew up and you don't remember YouTube not being around. Do you
Well,
remember YouTube
yeah,
not being around?
no. I okay, so actually it's funny you say that. I think I was maybe when did YouTube launch?
2005.
2007?
2005.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so then I think I uploaded my first ever YouTube video 2006. I
Wow.
like stole my sister's computer and like I I was a tech savvy girl, but I knew how to like I knew how to like upload a YouTube video somehow because like their design was like great and they made it very simplistic. So I uploaded my first video singing Amazing Grace. It was terrible. Yeah.
Can you sing or no?
No.
But you you thought you could back then or what? Or are you
Okay,
like one of
so
those people that can sing but they're like modest, they're like, no, I can't sing, and
no,
then
no, no, no. I'm like I'm so bad, but like I used to think I was able to sing. I used to like do karaoke every single Tuesday at Chevy's.
they have that still? Do they have that still?
No, they don't. But like that's very embarrassing. And like I was obsessed with Hannah Montana, and I would like really put on a show
Dude,
every week.
I'm not even just saying. I thought this earlier. I'm not even just saying this. I swear. There's like certain things that when your cadence, when you speak, little things here and there that you sound like not like Miley Cyrus because you guys don't talk with the same like you guys don't convey things the same way, but the sound of your voice has the same tone as her in little words. And I don't mean that
Oh,
as a, I don't mean
that's
that as
so weird, but also like, why is that's such? I'm getting so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the best compliment I've ever received.
I swear I'm not just saying that. I thought that earlier and I was like, how can I like put this in there? Because I was like, there's no way I could bring this up. It's gonna be too
Call me
random.
out on it because I'm curious what you mean.
I don't know. It was like when you laughed and then also there was some particular words you said, but like it just had like this like there was this part of this like throaty kind of like I don't know how to explain it. You just sound like Miley
Maybe I just
Cyrus.
watched too much Hannah Montana.
It's probably what it
Maybe
was. You grew
like
up.
growing up on that, I just picked up her habits.
Who do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch? Well, the reason I'm asking that is because did you watch Drake and Josh? And I was going to ask if you watched David Dobrik.
David Dobrik, is
Yeah,
that what you said?
yeah.
Like some of his videos. I watched
Some
like
of
Cody Ko, Emma Chamberlain, or
Amateur.
like
Funny.
other random YouTubers.
Do you ever watch Gold Diggers?
I didn't. Oh,
Oh, it's the
wait.
best. It's the
Is that
best.
like the guys who like go try to find gold diggers in like LA?
It's kind of like
Or
that. It's kind of like that. It's along the same lines. It's this couple, this boyfriend and this girlfriend, and
Mhm.
they have a group of friends, and then they meet with guys or girls who think their significant other is either cheating on them or would cheat on them, and then they
Yeah.
set them up and they basically like put them in a situation to film them and be
Mhm.
like, are they gonna end up picking this other person over me or not? And then
Yeah.
they confront them, and it's just all kinds of chaos.
I've definitely like gone down that rabbit hole of watching those videos. Like they're so entertaining, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wonder if he's gonna cheat. But it's like so stupid. They're like 18 years old, and I'm like, what am
That's
I doing at 4 a.m.?
that's exactly how I think of it. I'm like, I can't be watching this anymore. I have like an age gap on like the age of the people that I watch now. I'm like, they got to be at
Mhm.
least 24, 25. Otherwise, I'm
Then
going to
I'm
feel
allowed to.
crazy. Yeah, seriously.
But I mean, well, so it's interesting you say that because I've been teaching my sister, she's like 28, 29, how to use TikTok. And like, I'm their TikTok guru. I have like 20,000 followers, which is like, I mean, not that many,
It's a good
but
amount, though. It's a
it's an
pretty good
okay
amount.
amount. And I'm trying to help them. And she's like, oh, I feel so old. Like, I don't know how to do this. And like, I kind of, not that I'm starting to because I'm still very young and like I can pick things up. But like sometimes I see like younger kids and I feel like insecure. And I'm like, wait, how do they like do that thing? So at least I'm curious for you, like, because you are
You're
31,
like, because
right?
you're old as fuck.
Because you're older than me and you grew up in a time where like technology like rapidly like took off and like well you didn't necessarily get like the social media like or you did at
We
like a
eased
younger
into
age.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you ease into it whereas like with me like I grew up like with that. um how does it feel like I don't know. I
Like,
don't know what I'm trying to
just like
ask.
operating in that space or like, what is it?
Yeah,
Was like,
yeah.
dude, like, so like um I was making videos like before like YouTube existed. So like
Mhm.
I was like a little skateboarder kid and I was like pretty good.
Yeah.
So like I
Mhm.
learned like editing and stuff like that when I was like 13, like on like Adobe, like back then.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like, but it was crazy because like I was actually doing it like taking footage off like a legit tape and putting it onto the
Mhm.
computer and then putting it back on here and connecting to a
Yeah.
VCR and putting on a VHS, all kinds of stuff. So like creating content wasn't really that big of a deal for me. So like I don't even think anything of that now, but like
Yeah.
actually like feeling old compared to like the rest of the people on there, like I can relate with that like crazy because like I grew up like blogging. Like everyone had this thing called
Mhm.
Zanga and it was just blogging. And then MySpace came along and obviously everyone was
Yeah.
on MySpace. And then Facebook
Mhm.
came along and only people in college were on Facebook and then they opened it up for everybody. And then after that, it just kind of like spiraled with Tumblr and Twitter. So I've basically like seen all of it. So
Yeah.
like now I feel really, really old because like I felt there was like this pace that everyone kind of like moved at as far as like, oh, you're gonna open up this account, you're gonna open up that account, and now it's more like, dude, like the second I find out about something now, and I'm pretty up to date on stuff because that's what I do for work.
Yeah.
Like I could think that I'm pretty early on something. It already has the app already has like a million downloads or something like that,
Yeah.
and then like a month later it'll have like 100 million users, and then
Mhm.
by the time I get on it, I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out like how people are like talking on here, like what are the
Yeah.
trends, what are the feel, all this different crap. So at TikTok, I probably feel like if you feel old on TikTok, I probably feel like I'm almost dead, honestly. Like I just feel like an elderly person. Hold on, give
But
me one
there's a
second.
younger group like on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's sorry,
Oh,
I cut out for a second when I was talking. I was like,
it's
"Yeah,
okay.
whatever." All right, yeah. So yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel crazy like on the internet because I'm like 31 and I still run around with like a crazy vlogging camera and like
Yeah, but
just
that's also cool because you're at least you're I don't know, like that's an interesting life.
it's cool. It's cool. But it's also like weird because like when you like so this is the thing like you're a pretty girl and you're young, you're gonna end up like dating like whoever. Like you could kind of like have your pick and do your thing. When you're like a guy and you run around with like a camera and they're like, "What do you do for work?" I'm like, "Oh, I work with these different companies. I do this, I do
Yeah.
that." And they're like, "Wait, why do you have so many videos on the internet?" Or like they're
Mhm.
like, "You're 31, you got a TikTok with some." It's just it's a lot to explain to people. So
No,
like,
I definitely my sister, she like talks about that with me and she's like, "Oh, it's like it's hard like trying to find people at this age." And like she's like, "I just get the divorcees." And I'm like, "Okay, so then like yeah, that makes me like curious about that too." But
it's
I mean,
yeah, it's a
dating
lot
in
of like,
general is hard for anybody at like any age, I
dude,
think.
it gets so much harder. It
Oh,
gets so
don't tell
much
me that.
harder.
Oh no.
Just like be friends with somebody and like be like
Marry
really
them.
good friends with them and then have some like Hollywood thing where you're like, well, we've been best friends for like 8 years. Yeah, let's get
Let's
married or
just get
something.
married.
No,
Okay,
seriously.
I'll do
Because
that just in I mean, but that's my thing, like, if I don't get married, whatever, like
that's true. That's true.
but
You're
also, like, I it would be fun, you know? Like, it could be fun, but also, like, I don't care.
well, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Stuff is very like, how would you say this? Like, I don't know. I feel like people, guys and girls, get told too much stuff now, and they don't have their own opinions on relationships anymore either. Because like, it used to be like when you dated somebody, like if you dated a girl and like she was upset with you, her best friend's gonna gas her up, and she's gonna be like mad at you. She can repeat what her best friend says, and like that's kind of it. You guys will get over it. But now, if a girl's mad at you, or if a guy's mad at you, they get on the internet and there's all these memes and inspirational quotes and all this stuff that pump them up, and then all of a sudden you got to deal with all the validation for that stuff and this and that, and like I don't know, I feel like it's hard for people in relationships to have their own opinions now just because like I love social media, but
Yeah.
that's the only part of it where I'm like, man, that makes stuff so much harder. People get opinions from
No.
everywhere and that stuff.
I
Anyways,
definitely agree with you, especially, like, when it comes to dating. I think, like, nowadays, especially with social media, it's a completely different thing, like, I we can talk about, like, dating too if you want because
yeah,
I
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it, like, a little bit in my podcast just because I'm always, like, curious what people have to say and, like, how they feel about situations just because I feel like my views on, like, relationships on and dating, like, don't really align with other people my age. But, yeah, what are your, like, views on, like, like not dating necessarily, but like how do you envision like how a relationship is supposed to like go?
So
Like
like
out of curiosity,
I,
if you don't mind me asking.
no, yeah. I think that people when they're this is gonna be hard. Okay. I think it's supposed to go in the sense of like kind of like an ongoing conversation. I think a
Mhm.
relationship's a lot like that because many times like you got to establish who you are at the beginning of the relationship. Obviously, you'll be like, all right, this is who
Yeah.
I am. But also at the same time, that ongoing conversation is like a big part of it because it's like
Hmm.
you do got to change for the other person a little bit and they have to change for you. And it's never going to be even. It's always going to be like maybe some person changes 80%, the other person only changes 20. It just depends.
Yeah.
Every situation's different, right? But I think they need to they need to go in the sense of like this is just constant. It's never like, all right, we're married and that's it. It's just
Hmm.
constantly like trying to figure
Conversation.
out stuff about the other person because the second you don't do
Yeah.
that, it's like it ends up dying. It's just like anything else, right? Like if you
Mhm.
were wanting to, race cars, if you stop trying to get better at it, of course you're going to be, you're not going to be that great. If you stop trying to be like a good boyfriend or a good husband, at some
Yeah.
point you're going to get really mediocre. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's like the foundation of everything that I think about it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a
That's
whole
a
lot that
good
goes
perspective.
into it. I,
Mhm.
I went to therapy over this stuff, but not because I'm like a crazy person. It's because I got recommended like this like app on YouTube called BetterHelp, and this isn't a
Oh
plug for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was nothing going on.
Mhm.
I was just like,
Well,
everyone says
it's
it's a
so
good
good to
idea.
like talk about things, especially with
Sorry, it paused for a
That's
second.
good that you did that. That's interesting that you
D-
have this.
I
Oh no, it's
def
okay.
oh yeah, I definitely recommend it for everybody. But the reason I'm saying is I talked about all this stuff like with my therapist, which sounds funny saying that, but like
Hmm.
he was basically saying that like he kind of said gave me an overview of something cliche like I had mentioned, but he also said like you have to work on like forgiving people constantly, like
Yeah.
legitimately forgiving people and not expecting people to say I'm sorry, like just kind of
Mhm.
like learning that forgiveness is for you and not for anybody else because otherwise you're never going to get over anything and you can't expect the person to help you get over stuff. Like you legit got to do it for yourself. So when he said that, I
Yeah.
started thinking of relationships completely differently. I'm just like, all right,
Hmm.
like I can only make a relationship work as much as I want to make it work type of thing.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that mindset, which is like really unfortunate. Because it's not something you learn. I mean, possibly you do from like your parents or whatever, but I don't think many people like understand that fully and can like grasp what that really means. But yeah, I think like relationships are definitely like a lifetime thing, and you like always have to work on it. Yeah.
It's expectations make it very complicated because you just
Yeah.
naturally have those no matter what. Like it's like when you first start dating somebody, you're like, this person's
Hmm.
amazing, like they're perfect. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you set this premise for the next however long and you expect them to be that same person. And they're just not going to. It doesn't mean they're bad. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you can
It's
only
just life.
sustain it so much. Yeah, it's just
Mhm.
normal. At some point you guys get comfortable and then you're like annoyed with each other a little bit and
Yeah.
typical humans. What do you think about that stuff? Do you like set how many people have you dated in general? Let's just say this
So
first.
I've dated, well, I've gone on like many dates, but
Oh
like
yeah, 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 of course.
I've dated like officially, I say that officially, two people in my life.
It's a good
But
amount.
not that I wouldn't say those were real relationships, but I wouldn't say that they were like healthy.
Hmm.
So I don't necessarily count those.
That's good though. It should be like that when you're younger. You got to go through crazy
Yeah.
relationships when you're younger. That's the only time you learn
Yeah. I
stuff.
mean, like, I wish I didn't, but also I would not be who I am. So I'm happy, like, I experienced that. And especially because they were so, like, drastic and, like, not good. I'm just, like, glad. And I'm like, okay, it can only get better from here. So, yeah.
No, I think it's good to have like my friends that didn't have crazy relationships when they're younger, guys and girls, they
Mhm.
basically end up having crazy relationships later on. So like when you
Mhm.
get into your later 20s, you're probably gonna be like, oh, this is nothing. This is not
Yeah.
that big of a deal, or pretty much know how
Mhm.
to deal with it and
Handle
not
the
let things get out of
situation.
it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
If you didn't have a crazy relationship when you were younger, you guys weren't doing it right. You got
yeah, like, you're a little too healthy. Like,
no, seriously. Stuff will be too shocking later on as you get
yeah.
older.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
like nice for me. But I've learned a lot just from relationships and like putting myself out there and like trying to date because I'm like still so young, but like I've tried like so hard just like in general to like find somebody just like who I can connect with because like I like to have like really genuine connections. And like I've learned that like you're not gonna like find that from like your partner. And I mean
Yeah.
like maybe you will, but like you shouldn't be like looking for that because like the right person will like come when you're ready, I believe.
Mhm.
So like I've shifted my focus on like just focusing on friends or like actual other connections rather than that. So yeah, but my dating beliefs are like pretty, I don't want to say like old fashioned, but
Yeah.
like I just have like a very like kind of classic, but like not really like mindset of what a relationship should be.
So what is that?
Like essentially what you said, like you're learning and growing together and like gonna change together. But just like
What do you think
I'm
about
like
gender
such
roles? What do you think about gender roles in the
a,
relationship?
so see this is like where I struggle because it's like I love like equality for relationships and like you're the same. But I also like feel a sense of like for me, I feel like not that the man is in control, but like there should be a sense of like I hate saying this. There should be like a sense of like, oh, like let me like not take care of you, but like let me treat you right and like
Yeah,
let
yeah.
me do like old fashioned things because like that's just like how I was raised.
Like open the door,
Um
pick you up type of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
but I also like I'll pay like on a date. I don't care. Like it's not an issue. There's no like superiority complex for me. Like I'm fine with that. But I also like I also hate saying this. I like it's not that I don't want to pay on a date, but it's like I won't take it as a rude thing because I understand raise like typically the man pays. And it's
Yeah.
like that's like one of the only things where it's like it's not an issue because I don't mind, but it's just like I was raised different from like
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people. So like that's one of my beliefs. But I also think like power couple and like let's grow and like build an empire, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. No, but it's
But
good.
it's
It's good that you're honest about that though, because some people don't want to say that. Because like, there's a lot of girls that probably think the exact same thing, but they
yeah.
don't want to say that because they think that they're gonna look weak by saying that. But it's like
And
it's not at
I
all.
mean I mean I get it too, like why people don't say it because sometimes it's like, oh, like I just don't want to pay. Like I just don't want to. Like I get that. Like you don't have like if you want the guy to pay, that's why you're on the date. Like it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But like for me, it's like I feel bad when somebody has to pay for me, but also it's like not that I respect you more, but it's like I I'm like very grateful because I understand like that takes work and like I don't know if that makes
yeah.
any
No,
sense like at
100%.
all.
There's a lot of like gesture behind it. There's
Hmm.
like I know exactly what you're saying. There's like things that people do that mean so much more than people take them for granted. They're not just something as simple as
Yeah.
like someone's looking down on you because they're paying for you. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
this person works and they got money and they were willing to
Like
spend it
yeah.
on me. Not that
Yeah.
money means anything, but you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
it's funny saying it's funny hearing you say that because I know that a lot of girls think that, but they don't like saying it, or at least some of
I'm like, well, I never say it to like the person I'm like on a date with, but also like, like it's what I believe, and I'm like, oh, like I talk about this on some of my podcast episodes. I'm like, I really hope they listen to that because then I'm like, oh, like maybe they're gonna feel like obligated, but I always offer. That's the thing. I always offer. I don't mind, but yeah.
So like, would you feel weird if someone was like, okay, Denver, like we're gonna meet here, like instead of like picking you up, they're like, we're gonna meet here, and then like so you drive your own car there and you guys get there, or is that like if it's your guys' first
Oh.
date, maybe it's like that, but like, or like is it
Mm,
like that the whole time, or is it just vary from person to person?
okay, so that's the thing. Like, I feel like in California it's very different because I'm like, I listen to like a lot of crime junkie podcasts and like serial killer things and like that. And
Yeah,
I'm like, no, like you're not gonna pick me up until like maybe like 3 months in, like where I can have like some sort of like real grasp of like the fact that you're not gonna murder me.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I mean, it just depends. Like I always meet people or like I'll offer to drive or like whatever, just because I'm like I don't know. I feel like I have like such masculine energy sometimes, and I'm like, no, like it's fine. I'm driving, but like also like I don't think that there's like any real like gender roles in relationships. Like it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
because
I
I
don't know
like
if
driving. So
I don't know if you have I don't know what it is. You don't have masculine energy. It's like I know what you're saying, but you don't. I don't know if I would call it masculine energy. It's
like
like
I don't want to say like the word, but like big D energy.
it's a good, but really though, yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, right. Like I hate saying that, but I mean like it's kind of true.
No, but it's the truth. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I was trying to look for some other like phrase to throw in there, but that's a better one. I was like,
I I can't think of a sophisticated way to say that. So sorry.
oh yeah, I don't care. I don't care. So wait, do you use Bumble or Tinder or Hitch or any of that stuff?
I have like my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's
So
right. Yeah.
that's another thing too, actually, that is kind of like interesting because I grew up with like social media and things like that.
Sorry for the interruption, but I just want to let all of you know that my favorite Blackhead vacuum that all of you always ask for is linked in the description. Just FYI. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back, everybody. I apologize for that commercial, but I have to make some side money somehow. So we're still here with Denver. All right. So we're on the topic of dating. Is it like,
Mhm.
so we're generally talking about like Tinder and Bumble. So when you actually started, like, I don't want to say really dating because like 15, 16, you're still like a kid basically,
Yeah, I don't count that.
but like you don't remember dating before when like Tinder wasn't around.
Well, I wasn't allowed to have like a relationship until I was 16.
Mhm.
So that was like my first relationship. And then I didn't date anybody until I turned 18, I think. And that's when I started like actually using Tinder and like going on like real dates.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um but I don't have much of like a dating history before that. But
Wait,
after that, I've been on like many dates.
okay, so like you don't obviously like don't go to bars unless you have a fake ID or something.
No, so not here, but in Italy, I was able to because the
Oh, that's
drinking
right.
age is 18. So,
And you lived there for like a year.
sorry?
And you lived there for like a year, 2 years? How long did you
Yeah,
live there?
for a year by
Okay.
myself. Mhm.
Okay. So like what is dating like for like in like your early 20s now? Cuz like when I was in my early 20s, people like still met each other on the internet, but not really. Like it was still like
Mhm.
people were like if I saw a girl at Target, I was just going to walk up to her, but it's not really like that now. At least it
Yeah,
seems like.
no, it's not at all. Like, and that's kind of sad because I wish it was like how it was for you. Like, that's what I would like. Um, but I also like don't go out like enough to have those experiences besides like when things are open, like the gym or like work.
Mhm.
Um, so like that's kind of like the nice thing about it, like a positive thing for dating nowadays, and like you're able to meet whoever like from whatever. Um, but also for me, it's really hard because not, and this is gonna sound like super douchey, but like I get so many like messages and like
Oh,
DMs from people,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's like difficult because it's like why are you messaging me? And it's like what not like what do you want, but like but like
Yeah.
what are your intentions with this like transaction, so like it's hard for me to like feel like trusting towards people, especially like, on the internet, because like it's just like typical like, oh, like let's just like have sex, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for me that's like not what I'm looking for.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's difficult, like it's very difficult dating in your 20s, especially for me because I like older guys like 23, 24, just because I I'm not gonna say like 70-year-olds like
no,
older
but it's
than
just
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just funny
Older
like
than
hearing say that you're older, like 23, 24. Like,
I know, I'm so young.
no, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it's like, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
keep going.
But at least for me personally, it's difficult dating just because I don't really relate to like other people my age, like at all. And it's really hard finding people who are genuine and just like
Yeah,
cool
yeah, yeah.
people. Just because I don't know, it's like dating in general is hard. I know my self-worth so much, and like I'm very confident, and like boys don't like that, so it's like there's men, but then they're like too much of a man. And I'm like, you know, I'm not at the point where it's like I can take care of myself fully. So that's like where it's difficult. But it's like I'm so mature where I seem like not so mature, but like I'm pretty mature to where I seem like I can take care of myself, but I can't. If that makes any sense at all.
100% it makes sense. It's like
Like
between like both.
it's a very
Yeah.
awkward like stage. So it's like I'm not anybody yet, but like the yet is like the most important thing.
It makes sense though. It makes sense. Also
Yeah.
too, it's because like well, it sucks for girls probably because like when you're younger, like I know for me and like all of my friends, like a majority of the guys I knew, like nobody has their stuff together when they're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
20, 21, 22, 23, and then
Mhm.
25, 26, maybe semi a little bit, a small percentage does. And then once you
Yeah.
get to like 30, 28, 29, 30, people do, but they're
Mhm.
still kind of generally immature and crazy and like dumb.
Yeah.
So
And
I
that's
don't
why
know.
I'm like scared. I'm
Yeah,
like, dating sounds like terrible when you're older because it's like if I think people now are immature, like some people will never let go of their ways. And but it's like the right person's out there. Like I'm not worried, but also like it's kind of scary.
no, it's well, so it's like it is scary because like it's like the right person is like the right term because people
Mhm.
generally don't mature that. I mean, they do. You do like it's like for example, people mature in their life like as they get
So
older,
much. Yeah.
but in relationships, people only mature a little bit because like
Mhm.
there's stuff that I have friends that are like in their like early 40s, mid 40s, and I hear them and their like wives like argue sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a second, this is like the stuff that I would argue with my girlfriends when I was like 18,
Hmm.
19. They're just doing it in a house and they got a little kid and you know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
just like pointless stuff, but not pointless, but I don't know. People feel how they feel and it's
Hmm.
real, but you know what I mean?
That's interesting though. But I think I don't know.
People
I mean, it's unfortunate, but
it's
it is.
unfortunate, but it's weird. It's scary because
Yeah.
you think that things are going to get better when you're older. They don't get worse. And I don't
I
want to say
mean,
they don't
I
get
feel
better,
like
but
it's circumstantial, like based on the person too, you know? Like then that's why I feel like having like good relationships and like not settling is like the most important thing. Cause like you could date whoever you want, but like if it's not the right person and you know that, then it's not good,
it's
I
dude,
think.
it's so much harder when you're older because then it's like it's more than like it's like you could feel a particular way about somebody, and this isn't just from my
Yeah.
experience. I'm not trying to this is not my baggage. This is like I'm just saying in
Mhm.
general, right?
Yeah.
It's like you could find somebody that is like perfect, right? And then you guys really get along, but what you guys want out of life is like polar opposites, and then it's like,
Hmm.
oh damn, there's a big old conflict, and just that alone, everything could be great, but having to negotiate to be on the same page could end a
Yeah.
relationship. You know what I mean? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Adulting is weird. It's
Yeah.
very odd. I don't know.
Yeah. But even, I mean, ironically, I understand that too. Like even at my age and like trying to date. Because at least for me, like I have like a clear set of like my goals and ambitions.
For
And
sure.
it's like I've found people who it's like, wow, like I could see myself with you. Like not to be like a 20-year-old girl, like, ooh, like
No,
let's
but
get married. But like I could genuinely like see myself with you as like a person. But like we like it's not gonna work.
yeah, yeah. It's like you
It's
could
not gonna
already
work.
see the pieces
Yeah.
laid out where you're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
No, like you're a marine biologist. Like I don't know. Like it
Is
doesn't
that true
make
story
sense.
though? True story though, or no?
Like it's just an example. But
I was
like
gonna say
random things like I don't know. At least for me, I have like such high goals and it's like I need somebody on like the same like wavelength, you
for
know, which is
sure,
like
of course.
difficult. Yeah.
Like that balance of like extremist but still realistic type of thing.
Exactly. Like I need
Match
someone
your
to like keep
energy.
me grounded. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
are you one of those people that like when you meet somebody that's like it's just the vibe, like you don't know if you're gonna be with somebody, but like off the bat you can kind of tell like, oh, there's energy there, there's a vibe there. Like
Yeah.
you can kind of fill it out for the most
Like
part.
within like the first 5 minutes, like because usually I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I'm pretty not shy, but I'm just very like cautious with myself and like other people. So when I first meet somebody, like I'm very like, you know, observant. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, try to
Yeah.
figure out. And then like the little like psych therapist, psychologist inside of me, I'm like, you know, analyzing the situation.
Yeah.
Um, but I can usually tell within like the first like hour. like if the person's like a good person and I like them, like
Yeah, yeah.
easily. And then after that, I'm like, okay, like I like you. Like, not that it's that simplistic, but like I have a very good like indicator, but I also have to like be cautious with like my overthinking and like overanalyzing with
I see.
relationships and situations.
Because it could go either way, right? Like you could be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry this person, or it could be like it's
Mhm.
never gonna work out. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Very like big differences.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. That's how.
Yeah.
That's how I used to get, like when I was like younger, because I just like naturally overanalyze everything. But then like sometimes you meet people, they don't have enough substance, and that sounds like an asshole thing to say, but it's the
No,
truth.
no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like it's like you want to like it's like you might have a good time with them maybe initially a little bit, but you there's nothing else to analyze after that. They're
Exactly.
like, oh
And
shit,
you're like, oh, like no.
dude, yeah,
But
like
that's also really difficult. Like, and that's just like how some people are, which for me, like, don't like have personalities. Oh, wait, can you hear me?
sorry, go ahead, do that again, say that again, say that last like
Okay.
5 seconds,
Okay.
10 seconds again.
No, you're good. Um, at least for me, I feel like I don't know, some people, it's not that they don't have like a personality, but it's there's just yeah, no depth to like them, and it's difficult to be able to like keep things going. It's like I don't want to like carry the conversation and like try to make it interesting. Like if we don't vibe or like have a connection, like no, like I'm not gonna pursue this in any shape or form. It's like
Y-
it's pointless for me.
yeah, there's like some people where like I'll meet and let's say like they can talk for like an hour, but they can talk for an hour
Yeah.
about like what they do with their life or work or something like that. And I
Mhm.
just think like, man, if you were locked up in a room for a year and didn't have any type of stimulation, like what would I be able to talk to this person about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I get out of
Yeah.
that room and I'd be telling you
Mhm.
like, I figured this stuff out about the universe. I'm like,
Yeah,
I had all these
yeah,
crazy epiphanies, right? But there's some people that
Mhm.
won't do that where I'm like, man, if you didn't have all this outside stimulation, I don't even know if we could
Mhm.
keep this conversation going. You know what I
But
mean?
that makes me like so curious, like not why, but like why are you like that? And it's like like maybe like I just am like weird and I like think too much about things, but like so, like it just it really amazes me like to see how people like think or like how people carry conversations, because I've noticed like at least with you like we can keep the conversation going even if it's like about whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
with some people it's like you really have to like
Pull
give
shit
them
out. You got to
substance.
keep being
Yeah,
like, keep pulling
and
it.
it's difficult because I don't want to do that.
It's 100% how you're not 100%. It's a lot to do with how you were raised. Like at least I
Yeah.
think, and not even in a
Mhm.
judgmental way, but
No, I agree.
like when you meet different families, it's not even like the
Hmm.
way that you were raised was right and they were raised wrong. Not at all. It's just more like it's just different. So when you
Yeah,
meet certain people and you meet their parents, you're like, oh,
that makes sense.
this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I've noticed. But I try not to think like that all the time because as I get older, I'm like, I don't want to be that judgmental, but I just
Hmm.
can't help but analyze stuff
But I
and
mean,
like
no, it's important to like not understand, but like to sometimes like figure out why people are the way they are, and like
not be
be
dismissive and
more,
be like, they're just
yeah,
dumb.
be more understanding of like
Yeah.
the reasoning behind it all.
What are your parents like when you like date? Okay, so like have you dated someone seriously like being like your age right now?
Um, yes, kind of, but not. My parents never met him.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
not that serious.
I well, difficult situation,
Okay.
but like let's say if so.
You don't gotta talk about it if you don't want to
No, no,
either. I'm
no,
not,
no, no, it's okay. I'm gonna expose myself. I'm like talking to somebody right now, and
yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't really know where it's going, but I do
yeah,
like this person.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I would like for my family to meet him because I do like the person a lot.
yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, my family's very like I don't want to say difficult, but they're very like protective over like each other, and like
Yeah.
we all like see each other's worth. And it's like, if there's a guy that they know like that isn't good enough, and that sounds bad, but like whatever, if he's not good enough for me, like they're gonna say it, and they're like, we don't like him. Like, and I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. Like, it's difficult. So at least for me, I always felt like a lot of pressure just because. So two of my sisters, one of them is engaged. She's been with her fiance for 7 years.
Damn.
And then my sister who's above me, she's been with her boyfriend for 6 years. So there's like a lot of, and my parents, they dated for almost 10 years.
Dang.
And then they got married. So like relationships, like I take very like seriously. Like I never take it like, oh, like let's just like have fun. Like I used to have that kind of mindset when I was younger, but like I'm like, okay, like not that I have to be serious, but like I have other things like in my life that are more important. So if I bring somebody to my family, like it's a big deal for me. Because my family, I really value their opinion, especially with like people.
No, of course. That's a good
like,
way.
They can tell, like
read people type of thing.
Yeah.
Fill in the gaps and kind of see what type of person they are and whatnot. That's
Mm-hmm.
so like, okay, so like this dude that you're talking to, I'm not trying to pry, but
yeah, no, go for it.
So like, are you worried that if they were to meet this guy, he's a really nice guy and they might be too overprotective up front and then be like, and not really get to know him? Or is it more like you're kind of...
So they're never like, well, I mean, they're always like judgmental. They're my family, but like,
it's just
they're not, it's not upfront to him. It's more like to me, like, oh, we saw this one thing, like you should look out for that. Like that might be like a red flag in the future or something, like small things like that. Or like, I mean, they were looking at like his LinkedIn page the other day and they were like, oh, so he likes yoga. Like, that's cool. And I'm like, okay, like they're starting to like him. And I'm like kind of nervous. I'm like, I hope this works. Yeah.
It could work.
Like, and it's not even like me trying to get like approval, but it's like, for me, I view relationships like with your partner as like a family thing, just because my family and I are like so close. And like, luckily, I think if he watches this, I'm gonna be so embarrassed, but also like, whatever. Yeah. I don't care. I think it's important like to have those values. And for me, like family values are like everything. So he's pretty close with his family, which is like nice because I've already met his family. So I don't know. We'll see.
So it's getting pretty serious, serious enough to where you're like,
I don't know. Yeah. What if like I'm so wrong and he's like, oh no, we're just friends? We'll see. I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated.
Did you guys meet over the internet?
Yeah. So, well, it's a very small world because I went to middle school with like his sister who's my age because he's like a little bit older than me, so I know like him. And then also this is weird, like I kind of was starting to date or whatever. I was talking, I hate that, I was talking to somebody who went to my middle school, so it's like a small world.
Oh, I see. And it just kind of paths crossed and everything like that, and
it's
like
weird.
That's always so crazy how that ends up happening. Like California is the only place that ends up happening too, because for as many people as there are here, everybody kind of knows everybody or is connected through like one or two people
somehow. Like even if you're like in San Diego, it's like, seriously, like I saw that you were following this person.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird.
It's a small world. It is.
Especially where you're at, where like the older you get, it's gonna be weird the more people you're gonna know. Or at least it seems that way. That's how it is.
Like I hope not. I just don't want to run into people. So I'm like, yeah.
So okay, I won't harp on this dude too much more. How long have you guys been talking? Like, how long have you guys been talking? Have you guys been talking a while?
Bad. I'm sorry?
Have you guys been talking a while? I mumble a lot. I'm sorry. I mumble so much.
No. It cut out for a second.
Have you guys been talking a while? A few months?
No.
A couple
it's
months?
Actually very recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where you're like, I got that vibe. It's a good dude. Run with it.
Yeah.
It's always the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends. Like, sometimes I meet people, I'm like, oh, like, you seem really interesting. I would love to get to know you. But for me, it's like, just because I am super...
Are you spontaneous?
Yeah, I'm like spontaneous, but like, I'm I don't want to say deep, but like there's like more depth, like we're talking about.
Of
Like
course.
sometimes I'll meet someone who I think is really interesting, but I feel like I have to like reach for like more because I feel like some people are like really shy.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, too much work. Let's see what I get. Like, stop making me work for this. It should be easier.
What is it
Which
like?
I think is kind of true.
What is it like talking to somebody, like, especially like at first, like with this like COVID stuff happening?
Oh, um,
Do you guys still hang out and stuff?
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
no big
fine now.
deal.
It's
It's no
socially
big deal.
acceptable. No one's gonna like
Yeah.
bully me anymore. I don't
Well,
care.
if you guys end up dating, it's like you guys are probably going to give it to each other anyway if someone gets it, and you guys will probably
Well,
hopefully
he
be all
has the
right.
antibodies, so I'm
Oh, does he
like,
really? Oh, did he have it before?
I think he did,
Or he just said he
but
had
then
the
he like,
antibodies or he got tested or what?
yeah, he got tested and then he had the antibodies.
Oh, there you go then. Then he's
Yeah, so I'm
safe.
like, whatever.
I would take my chances. I would take my
Modern
chances.
day romance, yeah. Like, what a story that would be, though.
Does he do all the
Like,
same stuff you do?
um, kind of. Like,
Similar?
no, but like, he's very interesting,
Yeah, yeah.
which is cool.
I've noticed that people they don't have to have like you always hear people say that like you got to have stuff in common, but I don't think that that's true. At least like for me,
Like,
it hasn't
I
been that
mean,
way. But
some things, like, it's important, like values, I think, are
oh,
really
of
important to,
course,
like, have in
yeah,
common. And, like, you should be able to, like, do some of the same activities, but, like, I think that's BS when people are like, oh, you both have to, like, running. Like, no,
yeah,
that's
that
not
doesn't mean a
true.
whole lot. Yeah,
No. Yeah. Like, you
At-
can get along with anybody.
yeah, that's kind of how I see it. And then also like if you guys date for a long time, just the
Hmm.
fact that you guys have different activities that might be opposite sometimes or whatever, so much better because then you guys like have like
And you can both, like, teach each other new things, which I think is, like, super
exactly,
important. So,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't know. I see some couples like now at least, but I think it's because of the internet, like they end up meeting because they're in like remotely the same space and then they
Yeah.
end up going on and then I just stalk them because they end up having YouTube channels or something and then they break up like 2 or 3 years later and it's
Yeah.
all done. But I'm always thinking that I'm always like these people had too much in common and
Yeah.
they
No,
should have been opposites.
I, it's not, I mean, yeah, I feel like sometimes that works out, but like,
I feel like it's like Hollywood, it works out. In a
hmm
movie, it works out.
exactly. Like if they're both like, I don't know, whatever.
Like if
Like,
you had, imagine this, like if you had two YouTubers in the same house, like
hmm
I don't think that would ever work. I can't imagine
no,
that
like
working.
Tana Mojo and Jake Paul, like
Ah, dude.
they're both YouTube people. Like it's not gonna work. You have to have like YouTube and then like TikTok. Two different types of people here.
So I had like 10,000, almost 10,000 followers on Twitter, and
Yeah.
I deleted that account on accident because I deactivated it for like 30
Oh,
days, and I meant
yeah.
to do it on the last day, but I was one day late. I got my dates mixed up, so
Yeah.
deleted it forever. But on that account, I gained like a couple thousand followers in like an hour because I bought the Tana and Jake Paul wedding on pay per view,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I just streamed it for everybody because I was like, this is gonna be a shit show. I want
That's
to
so
watch it,
good.
and then hell of people were in there, and like I got a bunch of followers from it. But yeah, that's whenever you said that, I was like, oh shit, I can't believe I bought that pay per view. Do you
Wait,
follow?
so did they actually get married? Like I
Yeah,
didn't keep up with all of it.
no, they did. I don't even watch them, but that was just such like a shit show that I was like, I gotta pay
I
attention.
mean,
This,
they're both so like normal that it like amazes me. Like, how did you become so like who you are today? Like, these are things
yeah,
I do, like not all the things, but like some things sometimes YouTubers do. It like amazes me, and I'm like, how did you gain such a large following from doing something that like I do every day? And it's like just how like creative and unique they're able to do it and portray it. But those two are interesting people.
yeah, I feel like luck has a lot to do with it too. Just like anything in life,
Yeah.
luck has so much to do with a lot of things. But I don't know. Like Tana, I don't even. She's like a guilty pleasure of mine. Like I can't relate with her for anything, but for whatever
No,
reason,
she's
her
like
content's
just
kind of
loud.
entertaining. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But
That's
it's
it.
entertaining. It's like same thing with Emma Chamberlain. It's like she's so funny, but it's like we I I I don't know. At least for me, I feel like I relate to her a lot just because like I feel like we like grew up the same way
Yeah.
almost. And I watch her videos and it's like I could, not that I could do this, but like I feel like it's so similar and it's weird.
Like
Whereas
if
if
you
I watch like other YouTubers, I'm like, no, that doesn't like align with any of my
like
personality.
if you wanted to have that energy on like max for like 4 hours, then put time
Yeah.
into editing, you're like, oh, I could probably do this.
I don't want to say like easily, but like
Well,
I just
maybe.
don't like editing. That's actually another thing like why I stopped YouTube, because I didn't like editing, just because I was editing so much, and you know that obviously like
It's like
it's the
90% of your
worst.
work on YouTube is like
Mm-hmm.
all editing.
Just editing. Yeah.
It sucks. It really does suck, actually. It never gets fun.
Yeah.
It's never fun. It's
No.
always the worst part.
But that's why like for my podcast, it's like I don't do any cuts or edits or anything because I hate editing.
That's the best way to do it, honestly. I don't like,
Yeah.
so like I'll listen to like, even though this sounds funny, I'll listen to the Call Her Daddy podcast. And there's
Hmm.
so many cuts in it. And I'm like, it works good for them or her
Yeah.
now, right? But I can't imagine doing that every single episode. Like I would
No.
go
And I mean that's
psycho.
the thing too. They have like a whole team.
That's
So
true.
it's like
That's true.
if I had a team,
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
we're
of
fine.
course.
Like anybody can do anything and make it famous if you have a team. But it's like also too, like I can appreciate the fact that like little Emma's editing all these videos by herself or whatever. Like you too. So it's like I can appreciate you as a YouTuber more because you like take the time to edit it yourself, you know?
There's a lot of time, but then sometimes I think of the internet's just stupid. Like, do you ever like?
Oh,
I don't like.
the internet's so dumb.
I think your TikToks are like legitimately entertaining. Like, I'm not even just saying that because we're like recording. Like, they showed up on my For You page because TikTok knows I would watch something like that, right?
Oh my gosh.
But I will say this, that like not even about your content. I think of my content, a lot of other content on the internet. I'm like, why the do people watch this? Like,
Okay, your
I'm like,
Blackhead videos,
they're so
I
disgusting,
literally
so disgusting.
no. I love them. Like Dr. Pimple Popper and like all these videos. I literally, you have no idea. You have no idea how much time I have spent in my life searching blackhead videos, like whiteheads, just like all these like random like Asian videos that like you have to like really deeply search for. And like I found your videos and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna binge watch all of these. So I was so happy when I found them. I was so excited. You have no idea. Like it's so random and nothing, but it's like the best thing on the internet.
Dude, I'm like, at first I was embarrassed. Now I'm like, I don't even care. That's just my face.
No, keep
It,
uploading. Like that's the nice thing about the internet too, is like you can do anything and like at least one person in the world will find it entertaining. So like that's nice to know.
dude, it's so weird. Like I started vlogging on my first month on YouTube. I vlogged every single day, just like vlogs, and I think I got like a couple hundred subscribers. And then I like my
Yeah.
second month, I was doing like reaction videos and vlogs, and I was uploading like twice a day. And then I just jumped up to like 10K subscribers like hella fast. And I was like, dang,
Really?
what the heck? People just want to hear me talk about music. And then I started doing that. And then at some point I started doing skincare, and then more people started subscribing. And I was like,
Mhm.
why the fuck do people like? It's my dude. My main demographic on YouTube is like girls like 16 to like 34. Like, and I
That's
thought
so
about it.
weird, but
It's
also like
so
I get
random.
it. I get it.
I think it's because I'm like the only straight guy in like that skincare space.
But
Honestly,
it's like, yeah, and it's entertaining. It's you have different little niches, which is good.
it is. It is really odd. Now I'm like, I feel like I can't cuss all the time, or I can't make jokes because none of these people are gonna get it. Before I would just say whatever on camera, and I'm like, oh, people
Yeah.
will get what I'm talking about. Now I'm like, I can't have guy humor because there aren't guys watching my videos.
I mean, yeah. I
It
do
happens.
understand that.
Do you have like a lot of guys? Well, I would
But
assume
yeah,
there's a large majority of them probably on like Instagram or
my
TikTok. It might be
podcast
mixed.
surprisingly is 68% men,
Really, that's
which
a
is
good thing
like,
though. That's a
I
good thing
mean,
then.
it is, but I also like, I want to like be able to like reach women and like young girls because that's like not my goal, but like that's more important to me. But
Yeah.
also like right now I'm talking about like relationships or like serial killers or like whatever. So like it just ranges and like stuff, I
Yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah.
So it's hard to have like a consistent like, oh, it's all girls, you know?
That's
But
that's how I wanted to be too. I just wanted to get like a bunch of like guys to watch me too, because I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that'd just be easier to make content for them. It's so much
Mhm.
easier. But yeah, it never happens that way. It never happens that way on the
Yeah.
internet. It
Yeah.
really does, especially for girls. Girls have it harder on the internet. For as easy as certain times could be for you guys, like you guys might have certain avenues to make getting followers easier if you want to be cliche, right? Um,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, you guys like it's harder for you guys to get like a
And I'm glad you
wide
say that
audience.
because at least for me, I notice obviously like some videos really like me not thinking accidentally like have gotten very large because I was wearing like slightly revealing clothing, more revealing. And like I really like, and that's like the most frustrating thing is like me just being dumb. Like I set my camera a little bit too low and I'm like, oh shoot, this has 1 million views. Like, that was an accident and now I'm like getting slut shamed every day and it's like whatever because
Do,
like as
do
I
people
don't
really do
care.
that in the comments still? Like,
Yeah, but it's
I
like it's like it's expected. Like at least for
yeah,
me, I know like some people like will take that like and make like it'll affect them. But for me, I'm like whatever. Like slut shame me, I don't care.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is
Big deal.
expected of you. Like you're the internet, so I don't know. But accidents like that happen. But I understand what you're talking about, like being able to become like a cliche because I see myself and I'm like, okay, here's my mindset. If I start doing Twitch, I can become like a girl who and there's nothing wrong with this, but a girl who like shows more of
Yeah.
herself
Who like goes in there with
and
like a
is
tank top, no bra,
yeah,
just
yeah, like
talking like,
that's
"Oh,
fine.
guys, pay
That's
to
like
play with me," type of thing.
exactly. Or I could like actually take gaming not seriously, but like try to become better, which is like for me like I want to, but it's always like a not a battle, but it's like okay, I could start your following fast but not have genuine connections with people, or I could like work harder to like try to have like a good not career but like experience and like have more genuine connections. So for me I could definitely go both like ways if I wanted, but I try to like keep it more genuine and like catch myself when I'm like, oh, like calm down, like we're
You
not
feel
gonna
like
go
that sometimes? You get like that, like where you're like not purposely
oh
trying to,
yeah
but maybe a
because it's
little
like
bit. I don't know.
yeah like and I know and I don't want to say like I could easily but like especially with gaming like if I
Probably.
wanted
Like,
to
let's be
I
honest.
could
Probably.
like I could easily blow up overnight just because I see on TikTok like some videos where I'm in like a sports bra or something like and I'm gaming like 15,000 views like in 10 minutes. I'm like okay like I didn't have to try but it's
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
I'm wearing like this like nobody's gonna watch it so it's like that's why I'm like okay maybe like let's make my personality a little more juicy and like try to make it entertaining but it's I understand what you're saying when you talk about that and I feel like it's harder for guys to market themselves especially for like well you already have a larger following but I mean like it's taken you a long time to get here so
yeah. It's
especially
hard.
because it's personality based that's even more difficult because not everybody's personality is going to align with yours, you know.
It's probably easier for guys to sustain it because the way that they get there generally has to be like legitimately entertaining. Whereas girls do too, but there is that small percentage that they milk the side of it where maybe they are really entertaining, but they do, you know,
Yeah.
milk the side of it where it's on their looks. So then at some point that's a little bit harder to sustain long term because
Oh
like
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, I don't know. The internet's a weird place. But like
Yeah.
but you probably could. I don't know. It seems like a good backup plan if you ever wanted to. You're like if you ever was like, I don't want to work, I don't want to do nothing. I was gonna tell people to pay me on Twitch and like
Yeah,
I'll
but
play
it's like
games with them.
also too it's not that I don't have like and it's not that these girls don't have self-respect but it's
No, not at all.
like I can do more with my life, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I know my capabilities and it's like when people ask oh like why don't you model not that many people ask that but like people have asked like oh like why don't you model and it's like you know like that'd be really fun but like I can do more with my life than like just modeling not to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
demean that or anything but like I just
It's not something
know
you put on a pedestal,
yeah
but they might,
exactly
and there's nothing wrong with it. You're just like,
yeah
no, I just have a million other things that I'd rather do other than that that
hmm
might take more critical thinking or not that
yeah
yeah, I know what you're saying. I know exactly
yeah
what you're
yeah
saying.
yeah yeah
Dude,
yeah
dude, how long have you cut your hair like that?
oh I've had it like this for maybe like 5 months.
You just
Yeah.
were
And
just
I
like,
dyed it blonde because I was bored and I was on TikTok and I was like,
you were you
this
just like,
might
I'm
be
shaving the side of it. This is just, like, seems cool or
just
what?
for fun.
You do,
Like one night I was bored and I was like, let's see what happens.
you know, it looks cool. It looks cool.
My dad was like, what is that? He was so mad at me and I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how that got there. So, yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. But I noticed it, and then I didn't. You never know how to ask somebody like, hey, do you always get that haircut or like what? I think it's
No.
cool, but I feel like if I had asked that up front, it would have sounded like kind of
No,
asshole-ish.
not at all. I always do like weird things to my hair. Like I've had like a pixie cut. I've dyed my hair blonde. Like I've done it all.
Dude,
I have these activities.
that's what I want to do, but everyone's talking me out of it. I'm like, I don't care how I look. I want to do all my hair blonde, but then people are
Oh,
like, don't
I
do it.
saw. Yeah, you did a voting poll. I don't care. Do it. I
Like,
say do it. Don't listen to what they say. Just do it.
I know I'm on the verge of it. Like if
No,
I
just do it. I'm telling you, do it.
my people on, so I got partnered on this app or whatever,
Mhm.
and like it's called You Now. It's not a big app, but like I go
Okay.
on there and like I like basically have to stream like every, I don't know, a couple times a week at least. And like
Mhm.
so I made like a lot of friends on there, and they were like almost not paying me, but they were like kind of paying me because the way that the monetization works, they're like,
Mhm.
we're going to keep giving you likes, just do not dye your hair, do not dye your hair, do not dye your hair. And I'm like, fuck,
Oh.
maybe I will, but I don't know, I'm thinking about, but now that you say that, you're kind of juicing me up a little bit where I'm like, oh fuck, I might do
Well,
it.
I mean, did you sign like a legal agreement?
No, I just mean like people like on there that watch me,
Oh,
they're
okay,
like,
okay, okay.
yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah.
you.
No, now I'm thinking about it though,
Yeah.
possibly.
I mean, do whatever you want. People are gonna hate on you no matter what. That's my motivation for the day.
That's very true. That's very true. Is your hair actually that long, or do you have extensions? Not that there's anything wrong with extensions. Hold on, that froze.
Yeah.
Is
I
your
like
hair
extensions. Like,
wait, is your hair
oh
that
no,
long,
it's
or do you
okay.
have extensions?
They're
I
extensions.
couldn't tell. I was just curious. I was just asking
Yeah.
because you ask. Everyone has, not, I don't want to call it fake hair, but they have not their own hair all the
No,
time.
sometimes I'm like in a pink wig and I'm like, what am I doing? But yeah,
I think I saw that on TikTok once or
it's
twice.
fun.
It
It's fun
happens.
changing my appearance.
So, okay, drag racing, went to fashion school,
Mhm.
content creator. You're on the verge of possibly met the person you're going to marry. I'm just kidding. Just giving you a hard time because
Oh
in
my god.
case he watches this, that was me. That's just a joke.
I
Okay.
mean, unless
Unless it's only going to go one or two ways. It's only going to one or two ways. You guys are either going to
yeah.
break up or you're going to
So
get
we're
married.
either getting married or you're gonna like ghost me.
Yeah, that's gonna.
Let's
Dude,
see.
have you ever been ghosted before? Or no.
Oh, so many times. The numbers are astronomical.
Really?
I've been ghosted so many times.
Dude, I feel like people, maybe that's just when I was younger. I feel like, or maybe I just dated crazy girls when I was younger. Like if I ever ghosted a girl, like I'm gonna say like half the time they end up showing up at my house or like knocking on their door
Oh,
or something.
no, I don't take it personally. I'm just like, oh, well, maybe he forgot or like he just wasn't interested. I don't care. Not my problem. But
It's
yeah,
funny that you say that.
I don't know. That's scary, I guess.
I guess I
But
mean,
also like maybe they were confused.
it's true. That's true.
They're probably like, why isn't he answering me? Let me go check up on him.
I think when I
Yeah.
was younger, I just like led girls on to make them think that this sounds like really bad. When I
No,
was
that's
like
like
17,
okay.
18, like I just made I thought I was doing them a favor by making every girl think that like I was like totally in love with them, which sounds like really bad, but I
That
did it with the
no,
right
that sounds really
intentions.
douchey, but I know what you mean because I used to do that. Like,
Really?
and yeah, which is like it sounds terrible, but
It's
it's
so
like
much
at least
worse when a girl does them. I'm not even just saying that to be sexist. I swear.
no, it's horrible, but it's like at least I'm not like that now. But like I used to because it's like a power move. Like I have control over the situation. I'm not in love with you, but like I'm making you believe that. And that's horrible. Like that's so mean when people do that. And I'm like, like old Denver, what were you doing? Like
it,
that's
it
terrible.
it shouldn't sound like this, but it sounds so much more like ruthless when a girl says it. Like, oh yeah, I used to be that way too. Because at
But
least like some
I mean, it's true. Because at least with guys, it's like not all guys are like F boys, but like
but a
there's a
lot.
large percentage, and it's just like I don't want to say like oh boys will be boys, but like it's just like men are more horny. So like
Yeah.
I mean it's whatever. But like at least for me, I would do it because it was like like this is like interesting because I would also do, and this sounds horrible. This sounds so horrible, and like I'm gonna get blasted for this, but like I would do it not as a social experiment, but like just to see like if really could kind of like figure out a situation, like or like I don't know. This is like also like how I learned dating things, which is horrible. But I would like be like, okay, how many people can I like talk to make them believe that I'm in love with them, or like that's horrible. Like who does that? It's like entertaining, but it's like also like it's all for science. The purpose of science. Okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to a lot of people I did that to.
It's so funny because I know that there was girls that would do that, but no girl ever admits to that. But it's like they do it
It's
too.
interesting. Sorry, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest about that.
See,
Yeah.
I just did it because I just thought I was just like a dumbass. I was like, oh, this is how you make them feel special. But little like did I know, I didn't know I was like, I
Hurting
don't know.
people.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really messing with girls' heads. They had no idea.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You're not in love with me anymore? We've only been dating for like 3 months. You want to break up? What's going on?
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah. But I wouldn't like really like date them,
Really?
if that makes any sense. It
Oh,
was more of like talking.
I
I
put
don't know.
myself in so many dumb situations when I was like 20, 19. I told some girl, like, I remember I was talking to these two girls, and then we were at like the fair in the city that like I'm from, and I was there with one girl, and we were holding
Oh
hands, and then the other
no.
girl saw me, and then when I got home, I called the other girl that saw me, and like I ended up just like telling her I loved her, and like she was the one for me, and then like she was like so like taken back by it that she was like, okay, you got to stop talking to that other girl completely if you want to be with me, and I was like, damn, I got to pick right now. So I just had to go with my words. I ended up dating that girl for like a year and a half.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think back and I'm like, man, I ran with so many lies like that for so long. It was so dumb. I think I'm like, who was I? That's so weird.
That's horrible.
Oh,
But
it was
also
so bad.
like good on you for improving. Like that was messed up, but like nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but men are like weird. Like I don't get it, but also like I can understand where you're coming from because like that's something dumb I would do too. Like 100%. But
Did
it's
you
like
did you just play
you
with a
guys
bunch of dudes when you're young? Was it like that everyone you dated, or were you just like okay, so
not everybody.
you've dated like a lot of like not dated, you've gone on a lot of dates. Do you do that
Yeah.
naturally with like people that you go on dates with where you're like, I'm gonna pretend to be more interested than I really am?
Not anymore. I
Uh,
used to do that. Like but that was also before like I kind of had like a good sense of like what I really wanted in a relationship and like
sure.
what a relationship should be. Um so I didn't like I definitely like was like, oh yeah, like you're super interesting. And I thought they were like so boring, like a shoebox. Like I couldn't even
Yeah,
sit there and like have fun. I had to
you're
like
like
force myself.
you're like I stopped doing that at least like 6 months ago. So
No, like I
I'm
definitely like
kidding.
a good 2 years ago. Or
That's long
no,
enough.
like okay, a year ago. I'm like 1 year ago, like after my last relationship, I was like, okay, no more like superficial, like trying to force things. Like it has to be like real,
Yeah. You go
which is
through
like,
enough of them, you're more honest up front every single time.
oh yeah, now I'm like, okay, like I like you. There's that. Like if I
Yeah.
don't like you, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Which is like it's harder for me because I feel really bad, but like I have told people like I'm sorry, like this isn't gonna work. Like I'm just not interested in you, and it's like really difficult because it's painful for me and them. So I don't know, but it's better that way. I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially
Yeah.
like just because, well, I keep saying you're young, but like you're like adult dating, so you're not like entirely young, but like
I'm
so
no, I'm young,
yeah, pretty
but
much.
like
But
I'm in the beginning stage of adult
there
dating
we go.
because
There we go.
I'm not and I don't want to say like college dating. Like I don't consider myself like college dating because like I imagine college dating as like, oh, like I'm dating this like fraternity guy, or like I don't know, like I don't know what like college people are like. I went to like school in Italy, like, um,
That
I don't
sounds
know,
so cool, but pretentious, but super cool. Like,
but you
I mean that
understand
in a
what I
cool. I
mean?
mean that in a
Like,
good way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I don't understand like the normal like college dating scene yet. So like I don't consider myself like doing college dating because like he's already out of college and like I haven't dated somebody in college. That makes any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%. I know what you're saying. So you're in this
Yeah.
like you're pretty much going to experience dating at whatever his age is. Well, that's assuming I'm gonna assume he's probably like as mature as his age is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll
Yeah.
probably end up experiencing that at like you,
And that's another thing too. Like I think ever since I was like not younger, when I was like 18, like I always dated like older guys. So like I've
yeah,
never experienced besides like when I was 16 dating somebody my age. Like that
yeah.
just for me is like ew. Like I cannot do that.
Is it
I
really like
can't
that?
for me personally. Like so all my friends date people our age, but like I look at them and it's babies running around. Like I cannot do that.
Dude,
So
I'm like this weird age where like I'm like I don't know how to explain it. But this weird age where like if I go to the grocery store and I look at like a mom and the daughter, like the daughter
mhm,
could be like I would never date someone older than me. And I don't
mhm,
know if I would date someone 18 years old. But I'm
mhm.
at this weird stage where I think about I'm like, man, I could date like either of these people like
Yeah,
technically if I wanted
like
to.
you
Not if I
could,
want to,
and it
but like you know what I mean.
no, I know what you mean. Like, well, I dated like a 30-year-old when I was 19. And for me, like, of course, if you're a 19-year-old girl and you're dating a 30-year-old, like, it's not like that weird, you know? Like, you don't want it to be weird. But it's like, it's weird. So, like, don't do that because, like, there has to be something, like, in the kindest way possible, there has to be something slight.
No, it's the truth. Wait, say that again.
Like,
So
unless this
say that
girl's like a
again.
full,
Say that again so I can get it on recording because it skipped off. There has to be something
okay.
what?
um like there has to be something like slightly wrong with you
Yeah.
to believe that like it's okay as a 30-year-old to date like a 19-year-old girl,
Yeah.
unless this girl has like her entire life together still. Like the age shouldn't matter, but it does because like that's kind of like a
It's
little
close.
creepy.
It's close.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of get very close. Like she can look like Pamela Anderson, but like
Yeah.
all I'm saying is, look at those numbers. Like, that's weird.
Oh,
So,
dude. Like I was like, so when I was 25, I was coaching wrestling at the old high school that I used to go to for like a season,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
I was 25, so it's like remote. It's like relatively young still. It's still
Yeah.
pretty young, and so I would go in through the like back door to go to the wrestling room, and there would be like the senior like volleyball girls, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the wrestling coach," and I even then I was like, "I'm not gonna talk to these people. Like, I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
walking, not even give them any attention." So when I think of like 30 and like 18, 19, I'm like, man,
But I
that's
mean, that's the thing, too. Like, there's definitely like 25-year-olds out there who are like, oh, like 18-year-old, that's fine. Like, I think my ex was 24, but also he wasn't American. So, like, that's different.
yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah,
like, I don't know. I think, at least for me, I have an age limit now. I'm like, okay, you're not allowed to anymore date anybody older than like 5 years older than you. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not gonna happen.
It makes it
So
easier too. It makes it easier too.
yeah,
Stuff
to
gets
weed people
complicated.
out.
Dude,
Hmm.
I went on a date with a girl that was 19 when I was like 27. And I
Hmm.
remember I said something that I could say to someone my age and they might not think anything about it because girls like as they get older just get more stubborn. It seems like so I was on the date with this girl. We went to breakfast and I told her
Yeah.
I'm like we were talking about relationships and I said something like I can't even imagine having a girlfriend right now. Like I'm so busy. And then I saw her
Mhm.
face kind of like like, oh, like what? Like she took it
Yeah.
like very literal. Whereas like a girl my age would be like, oh, I'm gonna get this guy to date me. I don't care. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
but I remember so I just after that happened, and the whole conversation after that was like, it was my fault for saying that, but it went kind of downhill, and just I could feel the
No, there's
tension.
definitely like a different mindset, of course. And it's like, and that's difficult for me too. Like I could even try like really hard to like date somebody who's like 28, but it's like there's still me like reaching for like try to like find that kind of like, I don't know, like it's different. Like growing up, you know? Like we
Yeah.
can't talk about like Hannah Montana. And it's like you're gonna talk about like all these other cartoons, and I'm like, what is that? Like I have to explain what a pillow pet is to you. And it's like there's different like ages and like just things that you know and like things you can relate on. And I feel like it's really difficult trying to develop that like understanding, you know?
Yeah. You basically both have to like have really, really like weird, random, crazy lives, and like be disconnected in some ways where like
Yeah.
age wouldn't matter. I don't know. It's weird. This is weird.
Yeah. I
But
mean, unless it's like all like sexual, then it's like, okay, like whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
it's
even
like,
then, that'll run out at some point. Like,
yeah,
not run
yeah.
out. It could
But
keep going, but like at some
it
point, you guys
won't
will be
be
left alone together
substantial
to
forever.
talk, and like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't
Yeah.
know. It is what it is.
Our dating advice to everybody.
I know. I'm like the worst at it. I'm like I was like doing like streaming dating. I was doing dating streams in like 2016, and heck of
Yeah.
people loved them. But I think a lot of
Mhm.
people liked them because like I like had like a complete different perspective then. Where I'm like, I'm never getting married. I'm dating girls in my 20s in their 20s for the rest of my life. Like I was just like
Yeah.
very different perspective, and people loved it. And then like I ended up like dating somebody at some point, and they're like, "You're a fucking liar.
You're a
You're a
fraud.
fraud." Yeah.
Oh no.
But I don't know. Dating's a very entertaining topic that can go on forever.
Yeah. And I mean, I love talking about dating just because
Same
like
here.
it's interesting to hear like other people's perspective and like I don't know. I like listening to people my age talk about dating because it's such a completely different spectrum of like what dating is. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I sometimes I'm like I get confused because it's like I have like so like I don't have friends that are girls. Like I do, but not
Mhm.
real. Like I have like three friends that are girls, and they're friends that are girls because like I know them through random stuff like the
Okay.
gym or like something. But like I don't have friends that are girls. Like I just don't. Like it's
Yeah.
never worked. And not because like I try to make moves on them or they try to make moves on me. Like I don't know why. I just
Mhm.
never had friends that are girls. So like I don't know what girls think about dating. So whenever I can talk about it with somebody, I'm like, oh, this is like the most interesting shit in the world. So even on TikTok, I'm always looking at
Yeah.
stuff, even though I know a lot of it's a joke. I like
Mhm.
looking at it and being like, oh, this is remotely the ballpark that
Like true. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And for me, it's funny you say that though because I have a lot of guy friends, like a lot just because like I do dumb things all the time. And it's hard because I view it as a friendship. And like they do too, but it's like, oh, like I'm still attracted to you and like let's do things. And it's like, no, like no, that's not what friendship is. But like it's hard to like find that like balance because it's like I don't know. But I can understand why it's like people always say like it's difficult to have like platonic relationships between like both sexes. And it's like I get it. Cuz it's like sometimes like I'll be looking at my guy friends and I'm like I would love to kiss you right now. Like I don't say this, but it's like I would love to cuz it's like that'd be nice. Like I'm lonely. But then it's like no, like stop thinking that. Like you can't think this. And it's like I always wonder like is he thinking this too? And it's like I don't want to ask because then it's like gonna make it awkward, but like I'm curious, like do guys think those things? Oh my
The
god.
honesty part, you're like, I'm just lonely.
Yeah, like I'm just lonely. Like I need a kiss. Oh my
That's
gosh.
hilarious. I have so many friends. I have friends of the opposite gender, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it seems like it's cool. I'm like, I've never had that. I'm like, it's just
I mean,
random.
like on TikTok, I see these like 16-year-olds like friends with these boys, and I'm like, how did you do that? Like, teach me how to do.
So
Like, I
like,
don't
wait,
understand.
like, do you have a lot of friends that were guys growing up that ended up trying to make moves on you or try to get with you like that?
No, not when I was younger. When I was
Okay.
younger, I was like ugly, but like, just being honest, I was like ugly, but like, I mean, even now, I'm friends with guys just because I actually have more guy friends than I do girlfriends, and I don't have like many friends in general, but I can do more activities with my guy friends, and then I have my like girlfriends for like not emotional, but like we're able to talk about more things. Like we can do some activities together, but on the spectrum of like the two, I can have not more fun, but I can like do more things with like all my guy friends, if that makes sense.
No, 100% it makes sense. 100% it makes
Yeah.
sense. But they don't try to hit on you or nothing ever,
Um,
unless you don't want to expose anyone right now. You're not gonna say names, but
like sometimes I have like a couple of my current friends who like or like some of them who like have not in person, but just like over like message, like had said some things, and it's just like I know you would never say this to me in person because I would like literally like look at you like so weirdly.
what's the matter? Yeah.
Yeah, like what's wrong with you? But I mean, I understand like that. That's my problem too. Like I can understand like where they're coming from because like it's like I never flirt. I'm just nice, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes like I don't know. Emotions are weird, so you can't like control how you feel about people.
Well, people have really low EQ, right? Or like whatever, emotional intelligence. So like they can't distinguish the difference between like a girl being
Hmm.
nice and a girl actually like maybe potentially having some type of interest in them or I don't know, whatever,
Yeah,
right? I don't know.
yeah.
That's
But
just
also
people in general.
too, for me, people always are like, "Are you like?" They always like accuse me of flirting, and I'm like, "No, like I can't flirt. Like stop! Don't get excited. Like I don't know how to flirt with you. Like this is not flirting."
Well, like,
But
okay,
I mean,
like, so like, I don't, well, I've only talked to you for like an hour or however long it's been now, right? But
mhm.
like, I don't think that you are flirty, but I could see why people would think that. And I
Because
don't mean
like
that in a
oh
bad
like
way.
I'm like kind of nice. I'm like if you're wearing a nice
Yeah.
shirt, I'll be like you look nice in that shirt because it's like my opinion, and people
Yeah.
take that the wrong way because low E is did you say EQ?
EQ. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that's pretty much it. They can't distinguish between like what's what when people communicate with them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. I
that's
don't know.
interesting.
It
Mm.
seems like it'd be just very, very hard being a girl in that sense, but I feel like that's like a very obvious thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, I guess.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I feel bad keeping you on this long, but
No, it's been fun.
is there anything that you have that you would like to throw out there for people? I don't mean to like stop it so abruptly. I would just like
Mhm.
I don't know what to do. I feel like I didn't want to drag it out and be like I'm gonna keep pulling these questions out of her, and I've kept you for
No,
so
no,
long
no, no,
already.
no. It's honestly so entertaining. I've never done this before, so it's exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
most of my
and you've been
podcasts
like,
are a shit show, so like I apologize for bringing taking you everywhere.
no, it's cool. Like you've been an awesome host, like with
Thank you,
this. It's very
thank you.
exciting.
Good stuff.
Um, you've asked like good questions.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I
Whereas
try.
my podcast, I'm like, what do I talk about?
No, you have some
But
good
yeah,
episodes. You have some good.
it's
I was skimming through 'em.
oh
You do a
no.
good job. You do a good job.
Oh, thank you. I'm working on it. I'm working on improving. Um, I'm sorry, what was your question though?
Is there anything that you would like to plug for everybody or like tell them to go to? Specific names or I don't know. Usually what I'll do, at least with the ones that I've recorded already that I have not uploaded yet, and I don't know when they're gonna
Yeah.
go out, pretty soon here, is usually I'll be like, is there anything that you want to leave people off with? So like for example, got a lot of young girls that watch me on YouTube. Is there anything you want to say
Mhm.
to young girls? Or is there anything you want to say to guys where you're like, hey, stop treating girls
Mm,
like this when you're dating them? I don't know. You could
okay.
be so out there and ambiguous, but you could say whatever you want.
Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Putting you on the
I have a
spot.
message
There we go.
for the young girls out there.
There we go.
Okay. I want all of you to remember that you are, and young men, anyone who is a young person, I want you all to realize that you are very valuable, and at times you might not feel like it and you might not know it yet, but you're a very valuable human and you have a lot of potential to do good things in the world. And your choices matter, so be careful what you do in this world because it has effects on yourself and other people. And my message for the men out there who are dating or trying to be kind to girls and be kind to yourself. That's my
S-
message.
Solid advice. That is nothing that anyone could take and flip and say any but
Yeah,
good
speak
stuff.
that.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Thank you, Denver. And then also, I'm going to have all of her links in the description, guys. And basically, wherever you guys are watching this or listening to it, you're going to be able to find her social and everything like that. Give her a follow, but don't be a creep. And yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe or follow whatever platform you guys on. Click that button. Stick around to watch more episodes and listen more episodes and whatnot. And I will hear from you guys or see you guys or talk to you guys next time.